1,000 years ago, things are looking grim. The world almost ends straight up. Kaisaurus, the Black Dragon, is the strongest of the 7 dragons, and he's about to unleash hell. This dude was one of 12 heroes leading the charge against demons, but something goes horribly wrong. The demons curse Kaisaurus, and he loses his mind, kicking off a massive rampage. No way. As a result, the world is filled with misery and death, and it's all going downhill fast. There's still hope, with powerful warriors like Princess Eurydice and Knight Giorgio stepping up. Plus, a golden dragon is fighting for humanity. A dragon versus dragon brawl is exactly what we need. These 11 heroes are forced to fight their former ally, Kaisaurus, to try and save everything. After a long year of fighting, the battle with the Black Dragon finally comes to an end. The battle's over, but it looks like it's not a happy ending. Something intense just happened. Giorgio's lands the final blow on the dragon, but it's all a setup. This is wild. Turns out all these events, past and present, are connected to summoning Tartarus, the demon god. We see our boy totally wrecked, kneeling before some mysterious figure. Rough times, bro. She explains Tartarus can be summoned directly into the human world, and honestly, that's bad news. And there he is, Tartarus, the god of demons, looking extra menacing straight up. This dude is staring down Tartarus, even though he's clearly outmatched. Talk about guts. He's getting a vision of Tartarus' power, and it's terrifying. The scale of this is insane. She reveals the demons are actively working to bring Tartarus here. They're not messing around. But wait, our boy isn't giving up. He's determined to change fate, no matter the cost. He vows to break this fate, even if it means facing Tartarus himself. This is going to be epic. Okay, so it turns out the rich were hoarding all the gold while the world fell apart. Talk about tone deaf. But it gets worse. They didn't just want money, they were actively conspiring with Tartarus worshippers. No way. And then when Tartarus became a real threat, everyone abandoned ship except for our boy and his crew. He's back looking beat up, and he's laying it all out. He came back to fight, even after everything. He's begging this mysterious, icy-looking woman, asking her for the power to save the world, straight up. She's got this intense stare, and honestly, her expression is sending chills. This is a power move. Her eye is glowing red. It's a little creepy, but you gotta admit, the detail is insane. She's decked out in this elaborate, star-covered outfit. The design is wild, but it fits the vibe. But wait, she's not just standing there. She's clearly a powerful being, and she's about to make a decision. This dude is asking for a second chance, and the stakes are higher than ever. We're in for a ride. She's laying it on thick. He's scared, but she's reminding him he broke a dragon's curse and completed hundreds of tests. But he's not backing down, straight up declaring he'll be fine, and feels proud. This dude is a legend. With this newfound power, he's determined to save the world from the last demons and the Red Dragon. He's listing off everything he's going to protect. It's a total power fantasy moment, honestly. Then he drops a bombshell. He's doing all this for their daughter, Giorgio's, and wants her to live in a safe world. We get a glimpse of baby Giorgio's, so cute, and it makes all this fighting even more meaningful. No way. She's questioning him, and the icy woman is clearly trying to understand his resolve. It's intense. She's asking what he's afraid of, and he's just spent 3 years breaking a curse. This is a power move. He's performed hundreds of successful tests, but honestly, this whole situation is still terrifying. He declares he'll be fine, feel proud, and save the world, and honestly, we believe him. Everything explodes in purple energy. It's like a magical hurricane is ripping through the place. The icy woman screams for Giorgio's to leave, but our boy is standing firm, refusing to budge. He's enveloped in the energy, looking absolutely wrecked, but still trying to push through it. The woman tries to shield him, but the energy is overwhelming. It's seriously intense. She yells at him to leave. It's too dangerous, but he's clearly not listening, determined to fight. A skeletal figure bursts from the energy, and honestly, that's a terrifying sight. This dude realizes the energy feels just like when Kaisaurus went on a rampage. Oh no. He wonders if it's the curse of the demons returning, and honestly, it seems likely. He's questioning how this is happening since he broke the Dragon Heart's curse. What a twist. He takes a step forward, and bro, the power radiating from him is insane. This is gonna be good. The Demon King reveals he's been pretending to be an ally all along. Total betrayal. He drops a bombshell saying he's after the Golden Dragon, and honestly, that sounds bad. He snaps his fingers and straight up starts silencing the woman. No way is that good. She's glowing, trying to resist, but he's clearly overpowering her with some serious magic. He's ordering her to never speak of the secret she found, and the energy is intense. She screams as the light engulfs her. This dude is ruthless, but what secret does she hold? The Demon King sighs, saying they could have lived happily if she hadn't taken the dragon heart. She slumps to the ground, defeated, and it's a heartbreaking scene, honestly. But wait, the Demon King's not done. He's still got his own objectives to complete. This dude thought he could play everyone. He's about to learn he's in way over his head. The Demon King reveals he's been holding Giorgio's body and the demon curse captive all along. He's all like, enjoy watching your wife see you destroy the world, which is just messed up, honestly. But hold up, he's unleashing the unlimited power of the dragon heart, and it's radiating purple chaos. Everything starts to rumble, the ground cracks, and the Demon King is straight up losing it. He's cackling like a maniac as the world around them begins to fall apart. This is bad, real bad. Our boy's wife is trying to brace herself, but the force is too much. She's getting blown away. The Demon King slams his foot down, causing a massive fissure to open in the earth, total destruction. He's standing over the chasm looking down at her, and this dude thinks he's one big mistake. However, she's not going down without a fight, even as everything crumbles around her. She stares up at him with a determined look. She's ready to face whatever comes next, even if it's the end. She reveals she ripped the dragon heart from Giorgio's chest 1,000 years ago, cold-blooded, honestly. She's been waiting all this time to find a hero worthy of wielding it, and she thinks it's our boy. However, his body isn't ready for the dragon heart. It would either destroy him or overwhelm him completely. She's all serious, saying he's worthy, but straight up warns him it's too dangerous right now. She lays it all out. She needs to break the curse and find someone who can handle the power. She says she's been waiting for a hero to bear the dragon heart, and she thinks this dude is the one. She's not just handing it over, his body needs to be strong enough to survive the transfer. She's giving him the rundown, and you can tell she's been through this before. This is intense. Okay, so our boy is facing the Demon King, and this ethereal being is acknowledging his sheer willpower. It's intense. She reveals the dragon heart of Kaisaurus is the key to defeating the Demon King, but it's a risky gamble. This dude takes the dragon heart and immediately gets blasted with power, but it's clearly hurting him bad. He's using his strong luck ability, the second of 3 uses, hoping to push through the pain and seal the deal. The dragon heart flares and a blinding flash erupts. It looks like something's actually happening. But instead of destroying the Demon King, it sends our boy spiraling back in time, straight into his younger self. He's back at square one, weak and powerless, but he remembers everything, so he's already planning a comeback. Then a flash of blue energy, and our boy realizes he does recognize this feeling. It's power surging. He's glowing, hands outstretched, and the energy coalesces around him, revealing a ripped physique. He remembers feeling this power before, but it's fragmented, like a distant echo from another life. But he's not alone, something else is in there with him, and it's a terrifying realization. The eye radiates power, and he's preparing to lunge forward, ready to face whatever's on the other side. Still black, this is messing with my head. Is this a power down, a reset? We need answers. Okay, now we're back to red with a dramatic lunge graphic. This dude is going all in, whatever it takes. No way, the Demon King grabs him, and this dude is completely helpless. It's a brutal capture. The Demon King is furious, yelling about someone coveting his power. This is getting intense. He accuses this dude of having some nerve, and honestly, the Demon King is not messing around. He's reeling, questioning how this is possible, and it's clear this changes everything. Our boy is struggling, trying to break free, but the Demon King's grip is unbreakable. However, the Demon King's focus shifts. He's distracted, and our boy sees an opening. He uses the distraction to launch himself forward, attempting to escape the Demon King's grasp. But it's not an escape. He's pulled into the Demon King, seemingly absorbed by its power. And just like that, the Demon King vanishes, leaving only a faint scent and a whole lot of questions. The Demon King is furious, declaring he'd never give his power to our boy. Talk about a power move. But then things get wild. The Demon King starts absorbing him like a cosmic crunch, and it's terrifying. He's squeezed, crushed, and straight up digested by the Demon King's power. Ouch, that looks painful. Suddenly, everything flashes white, and it seems like our boy is getting sent back. What is happening? No way, he's a baby again, tiny and helpless, but somehow aware of everything that's coming. He's reliving his life starting from the very beginning, but this time he's got future knowledge. Game on. Someone is approaching the baby, and our boy knows it's the person who will eventually betray him. Cold. But he's determined to change things to break the cycle, and he's already planning his revenge. This is epic. He's getting lifted up, and honestly, this dude is already strategizing even as a baby, so smart. However, he's swearing he won't let history repeat itself, and he's starting his speedrun of the apocalypse now. Our boy is getting trained, pushed to his absolute limit, 2 grueling rounds already. But his trainer is relentless, demanding more, and it's clear this isn't just about strength. The Demon King attacks, but this dude anticipates it, dodging with speed that's insane. He's countering every move, every blast of energy. It's a full-on power display. The Demon King keeps coming, but our boy is just toying with him, declaring it's a waste of time. However, the Demon King unleashes a massive attack, and for a second, it looks like he's overwhelmed. No way, he deflects the blast. It's a perfect defense, and he's barely even breathing hard. The Demon King is furious, realizing this isn't the weakling he remembers. Things are shifting fast. He launches another attack, but our boy is already moving faster than the eye can track. With a final devastating blow, he sends the Demon King flying. This dude is straight up dominating. The Demon King lands a huge hit, sending our boy reeling, but he's still standing somehow. Someone notices his reaction time is slowing and calls out that he's getting tired. Big deal. He's adjusting to the demonic power, and that's driving the blonde warrior absolutely crazy. She's getting wrecked, realizing she's the only one taking damage in this fight. Ouch. The Demon King launches another attack, and she barely manages to block. It's a close call. But he recovers immediately, and she's left with a massive crack in her armor. No fair. She swings, he smashes. It's a furious exchange of blows, and honestly, it's brutal. He lands a solid hit, and she's sent flying, blood splattering everywhere. This is intense. She's trying to get back up, but he's already on her, unleashing another devastating attack. However, she's still fighting, determined to turn the tables. She's a straight-up powerhouse. He's unleashing everything he's got, a fiery storm erupting around him. It's a total power-up. The Demon King takes a direct hit, but it barely phases him. This guy is seriously durable. Our boy is getting hammered, taking hit after hit, but he's still swinging that sword like a maniac. He's coughing up blood, clearly reaching his limit, but refuses to fall. What a fighter. The Demon King lands a final, brutal blow, and it looks like our boy is going down. No way. But he's not finished, channeling some insane energy. This is a last-ditch effort for sure. He unleashes a massive blast of power, a swirling vortex of energy. It's beautiful and terrifying. The Demon King is caught in the blast, but he's resisting. This fight is far from over. He's getting ripped apart, engulfed in flames, and the Demon King is roaring in agony. It's brutal. He stands amidst the destruction, battered and bruised, and declares it's time to end this, finally. He's going all out, unleashing fire and lightning. It's a chaotic, beautiful mess. But the Demon King isn't even flinching, straight up batting away the attacks like they're nothing. The Demon King connects with a devastating blow, sending our boy flying. It's a brutal knockout. Arno's desperately trying to reach Leona, but she's barely conscious and can only manage a weak reply. This raid is officially over, and the commander is calling for a retreat. It's been a total disaster. Just as they turn to leave, a massive energy surge explodes, and everything goes white. No way, our boy gets blasted into oblivion with a flash of pink energy and a deafening roar. He's falling, spiraling through darkness, completely overwhelmed by the sheer power of whatever just hit him. And then he's back, but not how you'd expect. He's suddenly a kid again, his weakest self. He's staring into the source of that crazy energy, and it's a single, terrifying eye that's absolutely glowing. This dude realizes he's been sent back in time, and he knows exactly what he has to do, prevent this apocalypse. He's determined to rewrite fate, but honestly, this whole situation is straight up insane. The energy surrounding him explodes in pink sparkles. It's like something's actively trying to protect him, which is wild. This energy completely engulfs him, forming a massive, swirling shield of light and cosmic dust. He catches a glimpse of his own face reflected in the light, and bro looks seriously determined, despite everything. He realizes this isn't just protection, it's an attempt to take over his consciousness, and it's terrifying. Our boy understands the most important thing is his mind, because if he gets scared, the dragon will win. He refuses to let the dragon's mind control him, even if the transplant succeeds. This dude is a fighter. Suddenly, he's reaching out, grabbing at the swirling energy with everything he's got. It's a desperate move. He's fighting back, wrestling for control, and honestly, this is the most intense mental battle we've seen yet. He's pulling, straining, and the energy starts to respond, shifting and changing at his command. He's taking back control, refusing to be a puppet, and it looks like he might actually succeed. No way. He unleashes this insane power, a torrent of blue energy exploding from his body. It's overwhelming. The energy is building, swirling around him like a vortex, and he's pushing it to the absolute limit. He focuses all that power into a single massive blast, aiming it right at the Demon King, no hesitation. The attack connects, a huge explosion of light, and for a second, it looks like he actually landed a hit. But the Demon King isn't even fazed. He just casually swats the attack aside like it's nothing. The Demon King counters with a devastating blow, sending our boy flying backwards through the air. He crashes down hard, completely overwhelmed, and the Demon King is closing in for the final strike. He's desperately trying to get up, but it's too late. The Demon King's attack lands and everything goes black. Suddenly, he's not facing the Demon King anymore, but himself as a child, which is super weird. He's been sent back in time, back to when he was weak, and now he has to do it all over again. No way. He's absorbing the Demon King's power, but this dude reveals it's not his first rodeo with dragons. Turns out he's faced a dragon's mind before, and this is the 5th time it's happened to him. What? He's not thrilled about it, straight up calling these dragons a nuisance and demanding they just die already. He wants to know why they always test people before handing over their power. Honestly, so rude. He's stepping forward, radiating power, and it's clear this isn't the helpless kid from before. He's got that sword glowing blue, and his eyes are locked on something. This is a whole new level of intensity. Our boy is declaring war on these dragons, and it sounds like he's ready to end things for good. He's fully embracing this new power, and it's a total transformation. This is awesome. He's staring down whatever he's facing, and it's clear he's not afraid. No way. This dude is serious, with a determined look and a promise to break everything. Let's go. He's challenging the Demon King to a fight, and honestly, the confidence is radiating off the page. The Demon King accepts, and our boy immediately launches forward with a glowing sword. No hesitation. He's clashing with the Demon King, sparks flying everywhere, and it's a full-on power struggle. The Demon King is pushing back, but this dude is surprisingly holding his own, trading blows like a pro. He's unleashing a massive attack, and the Demon King is visibly surprised. It's working. But the Demon King retaliates, sending a shockwave that sends our boy flying back. Ouch. He's crashing through obstacles, but he's already back on his feet, ready for round 2. Something's wrong. He's seeing visions, and it looks like the Demon King is messing with his head. He's reeling, questioning what's real, and the Demon King is definitely taking advantage of the confusion. However, he snaps out of it, his eyes blazing with determination. He won't fall for that again. He's going all out, unleashing everything he's got, but the Demon King just swats it away like it's nothing. The Demon King lands a brutal hit, sending our boy crashing down. It's a serious blow, and he's clearly struggling. He's trying to get up, but the Demon King is relentless, keeping the pressure on with another attack. But then a mysterious figure appears, shielding him from the Demon King's blow. Who is this savior? This figure tells him to rest, insisting he needs to recover, and honestly, he looks wrecked. The mysterious figure starts weaving some kind of energy, a swirling golden power, and it's intense. He's getting healed. This energy is patching him up, but it's clear there's a cost. It's not free. The Demon King is furious, unleashing a massive blast of power, and it's headed straight for them. The figure raises a hand, stopping the attack with ease. This dude is seriously powerful. However, the figure's expression is cold, and the single red eye is unsettling. Something's off here. Wait a minute, he realizes the bug the Demon King is sending toward him is the same one he swallowed earlier. The mysterious figure calmly explains that he'll feel much better after a long sleep, which is ominous to say the least. He's overwhelmed with exhaustion, straight up collapsing. It's like all the fight has drained out of him. No way, the figure is radiating this insane golden power, almost like they're absorbing his energy. This dude is getting patched up, but it's a weird trade, like his strength is being siphoned away. He feels so drained and something is seriously wrong, but the figure just smirks. This is not a rescue. Okay, so our boy has this insane dragon skill, language enchantment, that lets him imbue words with power, which is wild. He's facing off against the Demon King, straight up telling him to get down on the floor, and things are about to POPOFF. He unleashes this massive attack, words flying everywhere, but the Demon King just absorbs it. No way. The Demon King retaliates with a crush, sending our boy flying. It's a brutal counterattack, honestly. He's getting absolutely wrecked, shouting as he's launched through the air, but this dude isn't going down without a fight. Suddenly, time slows down, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and everything around him starts cracking. The Demon King is completely destroying the area and our boy is getting pulverized, but then something weird happens. He's sent hurtling back in time, appearing as his younger, weaker self. Talk about a reset button. Someone's yelling, "Let me see," and he's back to square one, but with all the knowledge of what's coming. He's got a new mission, speedrun the apocalypse, and this time he's prepared. This is gonna be epic. He's battling the Demon King, trading blows, but the language enchantment only lasts 10 seconds. Time is running out. He's getting pummeled, unleashing a slam, slide, and smash combo, but it's not enough to stop the Demon King. He realizes the enchantment is fading, and the dragon's power is limited to 18, so he has to act fast. This dude focuses channeling the dragon's power, but admits it's still a dragon's power he's wielding. It's a temporary fix. He grabs the Demon King's weapon, attempting to wrench it away, and the tension is insane. He clenches, trying to break the Demon King's weapon, and you can feel the strain in every panel. The sword is special, created to slay dragons. It's even more powerful against them, which is huge. He's unleashing everything he's got, the sword glowing with power, but the Demon King is still standing. He's determined to change the future, vowing to prevent the apocalypse, and honestly, we're here for it. Our boy is back in action, ready to rewrite history, and this time he's got a plan. It's gonna be epic. He decides to fight with this new sword instead of relying on the dragon's power. Smart move. The sword, Sword of Light, is a divine weapon formed from primeval light, but it has conditions for use. Apparently, the goddess of light needs to approve, or he has to be on a mission for her, which is convenient. No way, the goddess's first mission was to save her Holy One. The stakes are way higher than we thought. This dude is channeling all the light energy, and the sword is glowing brighter than the sun. It's intense. He's ready to face the Demon King, determined to change the future and prevent the apocalypse. He's unleashing a furious attack with the Sword of Light, but the Demon King is still standing strong. What? He's fighting with everything he's got, determined to protect the Holy One, and honestly, it's awesome. But the Demon King isn't backing down, and this fight is about to get even more brutal. He's pushing his limits, channeling light energy, but can he really defeat the Demon King this time? He unleashes a massive blast of light with the sword, but the Demon King just absorbs it. Seriously. The Demon King retaliates with a dark energy attack, and our boy is sent flying, looking totally wrecked. He's desperately trying to protect the Holy One, but the Demon King is relentless, and it's looking grim. He channels even more light, yelling for it to shine, and suddenly he's engulfed in golden energy. It looks like he's sacrificing himself, and honestly, it's a huge power-up moment. A blinding flash erupts, and the Demon King is overwhelmed, but it's a desperate gamble. The light expands, seemingly destroying everything, and for a second, we think he actually did it. But the Demon King survives, and he's furious. This dude is straight up unkillable. He's completely exhausted, and the Demon King finishes him off. It's brutal and shocking. However, someone else is watching, and they confirm this sword is a legendary divine item. No doubt about it. Someone senses the goddess of light inside our boy. No way, that's a huge twist. But it doesn't stop there. They're also getting the same overwhelming feeling from him. It's intense. A royal guardian greets someone, and honestly, the vibes are totally off with this guy. Something clinks and trembles. It's his robotic hand, and it's clearly reacting to something. He's looking at the guardian, and straight up, this dude is suspicious, judging by his expression. Suddenly, a figure in armor collapses right in front of him, and it's a shocking reveal. It's the goddess of light, but she's injured, and this is getting seriously complicated. He's getting flashbacks, and it looks like the battle with Kaisar is triggering something. The goddess is babbling about the battle, and our boy is clearly reliving it with her. He's back in the fight, it's a loop, and this dude is reliving the apocalypse again. Demon King acknowledges our boy's power, but immediately throws shade. He doesn't trust him at all. He says he'll be watching from within, that's creepy, and sets the stage for some serious mind games. A massive energy blast erupts, and it looks like the Demon King is ripping something apart with pure power. He's launching energy beams, and our boy is dodging like a boss. The fight isn't over yet, not by a long shot. This dude is focused, eyes narrowed, and clearly processing everything that just happened. He's not backing down. He finds Ned unconscious and then discovers Eurydice. She's just a pile of ashes, no way. He whispers thanks Eurydice. That's a heartbreaking moment and shows how much she meant to him. It's a flashback, and he realizes Ned was lying the whole time, which explains everything. He's kneeling over Eurydice's ashes, and honestly, this dude is devastated, and rightfully so. Our boy's got a plan, and it's clear he's about to turn this whole situation around, bring on the revenge. He's channeling power into his hand, and a glowing mage crystal appears. It's an ancient spellbook, no way. The crystal holds the lost magic of the kingdom of Media, the same stuff Eurydice knew, but he needs to master it first. He also has a master key to Eurydice's tomb, currently held by Zephyr. That's a serious power play. But here's the kicker, the dragon heart inside him is only at 18% power right now. It's severely limited. However, once that power spreads through his body, he'll unlock skills and be ready for round 2. Okay, so our boy finally reaches Eurydice's treasure chamber after 1,000 years of nobody making it. The chamber starts glowing like crazy, a beam of light shoots down, and it's straight up intense. He's standing there flexing, and honestly, he's the first person in a millennium to get inside. But hold up, the chamber isn't filled with gold, it's filled with glittering crystals and relics. Everything starts shaking, crystals shatter with a massive DUPUN sound, and it's a total spectacle. More crystals explode, revealing even more relics, and everyone is just completely stunned. Someone shouts WOW, but the others are speechless, staring at Eurydice's lost treasures. One dude is freaking out, realizing these are actually Eurydice's relics, no way. Then the relics start sparkling, and it's like a magical explosion of light and power. Another guy is shocked, asking what's all this, while the relics continue to shimmer and glow. This dude realizes he can pull the items out of the crystals with his power, and it's a gold rush. Everyone's shocked because they have no clue how to break the crystals themselves, and they definitely didn't beat the boss. The relics are declared his, and honestly, he deserves every single piece. One guy is straight up seething, wondering who's supporting this loot grab. He asks if anyone has an appraisal skill, and wouldn't you know it, multiple people do. They explain appraisal lets you analyze an item's mana flow. The higher the skill, the more you learn. This dude starts appraising a goblet and learns the ancient kingdom of Media had seriously advanced magic. He learns the relics were common back then, but there just weren't many for sale, making them super rare. He gulps down some water, realizing just how valuable these treasures are. It's a serious moment. But the others are still stuck on the fact that he is the one getting all the loot. He's got a smug look on his face, saying things are going well, and honestly, they kinda are. The relics are identified: a shield of petrification, skill stones, obsidian bracelet, mirror chainmail, and more. He's grabbing a sword called Graham, and it's glowing with power. This is getting intense. Someone asks why they need to fight Olden because he took a temple, but it's way more than that. Turns out Olden is connected to the Tardaris worshippers. This is the real threat, and our boy knows it. They're saying if someone denies being a Tardaris worshipper, there's nothing they can do. But he's already figured out how to expose them. This dude is a genius, seriously. He's got a plan brewing, looking all intense, and the others are starting to understand the stakes. He's wearing the crow's cloak and twilight tunic, plus the misty bracelet. He's suiting up. Our boy is ready to take on Olden, and things are about to get real. No way this ends well. Okay, so here's the deal. Whenever they kill a Tardaris worshipper, a marked bud crawls out, super creepy. This dude Olden is a big shot. His family is super influential, and he's a cardinal now. He's explaining Olden took over his father's position as priest, and now runs things at the central parish. Turns out Olden's troops are out on a raid, so they're short-handed. Convenient timing, honestly. Olden casually offers them troops to defend the temple, but it feels off, you know. He's basically saying Olden can't be considered an enemy because he stays neutral in the temple's power struggles. They're lending Olden troops and our boy is looking skeptical. Something's definitely fishy. Someone points out arresting or killing Olden without proof is risky, and this dude gets it. But our boy is convinced Olden is involved, and he's already got a plan to expose him. Smart move. However, Olden is clearly playing a long game, and our boy is starting to realize just how deep this goes. Olden is holding some kind of glowing orb. It has an EYE in it, and straight up asks what everyone thinks it is. He lifts the orb and purple energy explodes out. It's clearly not a good sign and looks super ominous. Olden's face is all twisted and creepy, and he's channeling that energy through a gem on his forehead. Definitely a villain move. He's using the orb to amplify his power, and honestly, it's giving major bad vibes right now. Alfonso, the bishop, is getting absolutely wrecked by the purple energy. It's a full-on attack. Our boy is trying to shield a woman and her kid from the blast, but this dude Olden doesn't care. He's ruthless. Olden declares Alfonso should have obeyed him, and it's clear he's been pulling the strings all along. He's gloating and everyone is shocked. Turns out Olden was working with the demons the whole time. The woman is clutching her child, completely terrified, and honestly, this whole scene is heartbreaking. Olden's power is growing, and our boy realizes he seriously underestimated this guy. Big mistake. Olden starts spilling the tea. There are marked bugs inside Tartarus worshippers, and that's the key. He explains these bugs grant demonic power, but the more you use it, the bigger the bug grows. Kinda sus, right? Apparently his bug evolved into a queen, and now it can make larvae. No way is that good. He's straight up saying he can brainwash and control anyone who swallows these larvae, and he used the bishop. Olden shows off the larvae, and honestly, it looks disgusting, and he's about to eat it. He swallows it and declares he's now controlling the bishop, just like he did just now. Bishop is totally dazed and confused, and Olden is just standing there looking smug. But our boy is realizing Olden is a whole other level of messed up. This dude is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Okay, so Lucian, this holy knight, straight up crashes the scene and announces he's arresting Cardinal Lasker for heresy. But the Cardinal is totally unbothered. He already knew Lucian was coming back. Apparently it was foreseen by their leader. However, the Cardinal is low-key furious Lucian is back so soon because he was expecting a longer setup. He thinks Lucian and his raid party are nowhere near strong enough to have already cleared the dungeon, so something's off. The Cardinal suspects Matthias failed, and he's pissed Lucian spilled everything about him to the party. That's a major problem. Honestly, the Cardinal can't believe Lucian revealed everything. He's seething and grinding his teeth. His eyes are practically glowing with rage. This dude is about to make some seriously bad decisions. The Cardinal declares Lucian has already fallen into his trap just by showing up at the temple, and it's clear he's been planning this. However, Lucian is still confident, thinking he's got everything under control, but our boy is about to be surprised. The Cardinal is losing it, demanding proof of the heresy accusation and totally playing innocent. Lucian doesn't even bother arguing, he just has Bishop Alfonso drop a stack of sealed letters, the proof. Everyone is shocked. Apparently, these letters reveal the Cardinal's been communicating with the Demon King. The Cardinal tries to brush it off, saying Lucian's behavior is unacceptable given who he's talking to. But then, a shadowy figure appears, and it's got this weird, glowing centipede-like mark on its back. Someone realizes the mark isn't a centipede, it's Olden's special power, the one Zephyr warned them about. The Cardinal's face is absolutely priceless, and honestly, this dude had it coming. Lucian reveals he's been keeping a potion of true sight handy, just in case someone needed to see through illusions. Tells them to keep the potion a secret for now, and everyone looks totally rattled. No way, the Cardinal is sweating bullets, clearly realizing his entire plan just imploded. Okay, so the floor starts shaking and someone blurts out it's moving, totally ominous, right? Turns out they're inside Eurydice's tomb, which is a massive labyrinth under the temple. No chill at all. This tomb is so huge it extends under the third parish, and the group decides to dig their way out. But wait, the place they're digging towards, it's Matthias' old hideout where the Demon King's worshippers used to gather. Lucian finds a box full of letters in the mansion, and it's clear he's found some serious evidence. Lucian is laying it all out. The Cardinal's been working with the Demon King all along. The Cardinal is trying to act surprised, but come on, we all knew this was coming. Lucian warns them someone will try to assassinate the Cardinal, but it feels like too little, too late. And honestly, the Cardinal is a mess. He's completely lost control and knows he's been exposed. Lucian reveals he's already read all the letters and knows everything. Total power move. The Cardinal insists Mafias would never betray him out of loyalty, but Lucian just laughs in his face. Lucian drops a bomb. He's actually a leader of the Tardaris worshippers, ranking 11th in command. The Cardinal tries to escape, but Lucian's men are already blocking every exit. No way out. The Cardinal shouts that Lucian got him, admitting he didn't expect this level of thoroughness. Lucian asks if Mafias told him everything out of loyalty, and the Cardinal just screams in response. Lucian starts laughing, tapping his fingers on the table as if this is all a game. He declares that everything is right here, and then casually raises his hand, ominous. Lucian states that this just proves how much his subordinates trust him, but it's clearly a threat. However, the Cardinal is about to find out Lucian isn't messing around. This is about to get real. Lucian's got this intense glare and straight up tells them there's nothing they can do to stop him. He's about to reveal his big plan, and honestly, it sounds terrifying, a marked bug for mind control. The Cardinal's trying to protect Claudia, but Lucian just unbuttons his shirt and is all like, here's the bug. Claudia screams for Lucian, but then she yells for Mafias. What is happening? Mafias is yelling for Lucian too, and it's all super confusing. They're clearly in trouble. Someone tries to stop Mafias with a sword, but Lucian's men are there to block the attack. It's a mess. Lucian's trying to get someone to swallow the bug larva, claiming it'll turn them into his faithful servant. He says he prepared a princess bug with powerful mind control. This dude is seriously messed up. But it's a trap. The Cardinal and Claudia are both under Lucian's control, and it's a total betrayal. Lucian's laughing like a maniac, and honestly, this whole situation is just tragic. Lucian gives Mafias a countdown, 1, 2, 3, and straight up offers him the bug larva to swallow. Mafias yells that he'll take it, and Lucian's grin is genuinely terrifying. This dude is a psycho. But then Lucian says he'll give it to Mafia's lover instead, and our boy is suddenly all protective. Mafias leaps forward with a sword, trying to stop Lucian, but it's too late. Lucian's already going in for the kill. No way. Lucian shoves the bug right into Claudia's mouth, and she's completely helpless. The Cardinal tries to intervene, but Lucian just straight up stabs him, and it's brutal. Claudia and the Cardinal are both paralyzed, and Lucian's laughing. This is a total nightmare. He's gloating about how he's won, but honestly, this dude had it coming. Mafias is furious, and he's about to launch himself at Lucian. This is gonna be a showdown. Lucian's got Mafias pinned, sword at his throat, and everything is going dark. What a cliffhanger. Lucian swings, and Mafias somehow manages to deflect the blow with a burst of energy. No way. He's wearing these special misty bracelets, and they're making him almost undetectable, even to Lucian's power. But Lucian's detection skill is legend grade, so he still senses Mafias and goes for another attack. Mafias slices at Lucian, but it's like hitting steel. The Demon King doesn't even flinch. Lucian retaliates with a lightning-fast counterattack and straight up slices through Mafia's armor. He's got Claudia pinned, using her as a shield, and demands Mafias stand down. What a jerk. Mafias tries to back down, but Lucian tightens his grip on Claudia, making things super tense. Claudia's shocked, yelling at Mafias, but Lucian just smirks. This dude is enjoying this way too much. Lucian's got Claudia in a chokehold, and she's gasping for air. It's brutal to watch. Mafias is totally losing it, and he's about to make a deal with Lucian to save Claudia. This is intense. Mafias is absolutely enraged, screaming at Lucian. He's lost it completely, bro. He lunges for Lucian, but the Demon King just casually swats him away like a fly. No way, this dude is too strong. So the knights are training, and the temple is closed to everyone, except our boy clearly ignores that. But hold up, a massive rumble shakes everything, and smoke starts billowing from the main building. No way. He's down in the mines with his crew, and they all see the smoke. What's going on over there? A mysterious woman in white is lurking around, and she's straight up telling one of the guys to lay low. She says to meet up after the raid for his payment, and then drops a bomb. Higher-ups are coming, and black market deals are risky. She warns him to stay away from the main building if he doesn't want to get searched, and honestly, this dude should listen. She's been hiding in the slave area just in case something goes down, and she's starting to suspect Zephyr knew this would happen. This is intense. She's basically saying Zephyr predicted all of this, and it's making me think he's way more involved than we thought. However, it seems like she's been planning for this, and our boy's about to be caught in the middle of it all. Everything is about to go down, and I have a feeling this raid is going to be way more complicated than anyone expects. Zephyr loses it, straight up transforming into some kind of beast and roaring like it's the end of the world. He attacks the woman in white, but she's ready, deflecting with a shield and blasting him with energy. The woman's got skills. She's unleashing a bunch of buffs and debuffs, slowing down enemies and weakening their stats. She activates an obsidian bracelet to speed up her skill cooldowns, and then chains everyone up with glowing energy. But wait, there's another guy with her, and he's unleashing a shield of petrification, turning people to stone. The shield's eye glows, and it's targeting Zephyr, who's desperately trying to break free from the chains. She's got a whole arsenal of gem spirit skills, and our boy is getting wrecked, honestly. However, this dude manages to break through the chains, but he's clearly at a disadvantage and taking a beating. The woman's just casually explaining her abilities while kicking butt. Talk about confidence. Zephyr is down, and the woman's crew is moving in to finish the job, but something feels off about all this. She's aiming for a knockout, and she throws a skill stone. No way is this a normal rock. Swish, the stone flies, and wham, it hits its target with insane accuracy, straight up knocking them out. The stone's description pops up. It's a knockout skill stone activated on impact and one-time use only. The woman in white is shocked. How does he have such good aim? Seriously, this dude is a sharpshooter. He's not even breaking a sweat, but the building is starting to crumble around them. This is getting intense. Whoosh, a massive force slams into the structure, and it's collapsing fast, but he's deflecting it with ease. Rumble, the whole place shakes as another attack lands and debris is flying everywhere, but they're holding strong. More and more of the building falls apart, and they're both surrounded by chaos, but he looks completely unfazed. She throws her staff, and it's glowing with power. This is a serious attack, and it's coming in hot. Whoa, the staff connects, unleashing a blinding flash and a shockwave, and honestly, it looks like it might actually work. Okay, so the woman's about to land a hit, but our boy is already predicting her attacks smooth. He's explaining how spears beat swords with range, but honestly, it's just a setup for what's coming. He's unleashing a sword aura, and it's huge, like seriously massive, wrapping around everything. She tries to dodge, but the aura is way too fast, and it's closing in on her. No escape. Swish, the sword cuts through her defense like butter, and it looks like she's getting sliced up. Whoa, she's barely dodging the attack, and the sword is just missing her vital spots by a hair. But he's not done. He's going for another strike, aiming right for her, and she's barely holding on. She's reeling, straight up covered in cuts, but she's still standing. This woman is tough. He's pressing his advantage, unleashing another wave of attacks, but she's deflecting them somehow. Slash, he lands a final blow, and she's sent flying. It looks like it might finally be over. She's getting stabbed repeatedly, but our boy's armor activates. It's reflecting the damage back at her. Okay, so the armor reflects 50% of the damage, and she's taking a serious hit. Ouch. She's dodging like crazy, but the reflected attacks are relentless and keep coming. He's swinging his sword, trying to land a blow, and she's barely swerving out of the way. She's attempting to attack again, but this dude anticipates it and slams into her. He's unleashing another attack, and she's getting blasted back. It's a full-on counter. She's trying to recover, but he's not giving her a chance, just relentlessly attacking. He leaps forward, avoiding her attacks, and lands a blow. No way, he's a whirlwind of steel. She's leaping back, trying to create some distance, but he's right on her heels, pressing the assault. He's going for the final strike, and she's desperately trying to dodge. This is it. He launches forward with a massive lunge, sword blazing. It's a full-on attack. But she anticipates it, meeting his blade with her own, and sparks fly everywhere. He unleashes Divine Judgment, a skill meant to obliterate, but she counters immediately, no hesitation. The clash of powers creates a huge explosion, leveling the entire cathedral. It's absolutely devastating. Debris rains down, and she's sent crashing through the wreckage, looking seriously hurt. He lands amidst the rebel, sword still glowing, and his allies call out to him. They're worried sick. He tells them to stay back, clearly injured and pushing himself to keep fighting. What a leader. He's bleeding from multiple wounds but still standing, trying to hold it together. This dude is tough. However, she's not finished, and he realizes she's still a major threat despite everything. He's exhausted, wounded, but determined to protect everyone. Our boy is a straight-up hero. He's got her pinned sword at her throat, ready to finish her off. It's brutal. But she suddenly changes her mind, stopping him with a hand on his weapon. What? He's cut, blood is flowing, and she's getting a little too close for comfort. Things are heating up. Her eyes glow red, and she's clearly taking control of the situation. No way this is good. Okay, so our boy is facing off against this super powerful demon lord, and things are looking grim. This demon is straight up flexing, and it's clear he's about to crush our hero, no contest. But hold up, the demon's minion, this priest guy, is offering his services, saying he specializes in mind control. He's got a plan to take over the temple and snatch the dragon heart, which sounds like a bad idea already. However, the demon lord isn't interested in moving the dragon heart. He wants to control the temple from within, which is way sneakier. The priest agrees, and the demon lord gives the go-ahead, telling him to proceed with the plan, and honestly, it's a little too easy. Suddenly we cut to someone running through the forest. What is happening? This dude is booking it, and he's clearly panicking about something major going down. He's thinking back to what just happened, realizing he's been sent back in time, and it's a total mind-blower. Our boy declares he prepared for everything, which is good because he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to prevent this apocalypse. Okay, so this dude is reeling. Jin Yong betrayed him, and it's hitting hard. He realizes Jin Yong was faking concern, pretending to want to ditch his useless disciple, and now it all clicks. It all makes sense. Jin Yong played him, and our boy is straight up furious about the backstab. He's spitting mad, cursing Jin Yong and vowing revenge. This dude is not happy. But the priest, he's cool as a cucumber, inviting Lord Olden in and revealing he's a Tardaris worshipper. The priest explains that Lucian knows his secret, but it's not a problem because the temple cardinals need his vote. Apparently, they're counting on his neutral vote in the next papal conclave, which is a serious power play. However, what concerns him more is how many of Jin Yong's disciples are still out there, hiding in the shadows. If Jin Yong or his son Jinggang are involved, then the powerful Dragon King-style martial arts are still a threat. He needs to get to his hideout, gather more troops, and prepare for war. This is about to get intense. Lord Olden is getting poisoned, straight up covered in green goo. It's Belial, a super deadly toxin. He's screaming, writhing in pain, and honestly, this dude had it coming. Playing with poison is risky. The priest doesn't even flinch, calmly asking who could have done this, but we know it's Jin Yong. Olden manages to gasp out that it's poison, but the priest is already suspecting a conspiracy. He's realizing the poison isn't just about hurting Olden, it's a message, a declaration of war. The priest isn't worried about Olden, he's focused on securing his power base with the cardinals. However, he's more concerned about how many of Jin Yong's followers are still out there, plotting. The priest thinks the Dragon King's martial arts are still a threat, and he's right to be worried. It's powerful. Our boy is frantically checking his hideout, gathering his troops, and preparing for an all-out war. He's determined to stop Jin Yong and his followers, even if it means facing impossible odds. This is intense. Palux, one of the 10 greatest warriors, straight up attacks our boy and lands a solid hit. The impact is insane, sending Lord Olden flying. It's a brutal takedown, no way around it. Palux boasts about being among the strongest, but our boy isn't impressed. He's clearly unfazed. This dude reveals he's been poisoned, and it's affecting him fast, but he's still standing tall. He swiftly stabs Palux, but the knight barely reacts. This guy is tougher than he looks. Palux collapses, but our boy isn't satisfied. He demands to know what's going on now. He realizes Palux was a fake, killed by a tiny bit of poison, a message from Jin Yong for sure. Our boy calls out Jin Yong, saying he should have kept the real Silver Knight. Ouch, that's cold. He's furious, and honestly, Palux had it coming. Playing with poison is a dangerous game. But the priest is already suspecting a conspiracy, and he's more concerned with his power base. The cardinal tries to bribe our boy, offering triple whatever anyone else is paying. Smooth move, but it won't work. Our boy just wants him to pretend he never saw him, and the cardinal immediately realizes something's off. He's shocked. His body isn't healing like it should, and he realizes this is no ordinary poison. This dude thinks he's valuable enough to keep alive and can get our boy anything he wants. Big talk for a poison man. He's stalling for time, desperately hoping Pollux arrives before the poison takes hold, but honestly, it doesn't look good. Our boy calls him out, asking if he's waiting for someone, and the Cardinal's face just drops. Suddenly, a figure drops out of nowhere and lands right in front of our boy, like that. This new guy is seriously intense, and our boy immediately suspects he's the real Pollux, the one the Cardinal was hiding. The real Pollux strikes, and the sound of the impact is brutal, clunk, straight up devastating. 12 hours earlier, at dawn, our boy is getting absolutely wrecked. The Silver Knight just lays into him. Pollux and another mysterious dude watch, and the Silver Knight is clearly trying to finish him off for good. He's covered in wounds, but our boy realizes the potion of true sight actually works. He can identify Tartarus worshippers. Pollux reveals they plan to give the dragon heart to someone else, then get betrayed by a priest, cold-blooded, honestly. He pretended to deliver the dragon heart, but they tried to kill him using a slave mark. These guys are ruthless. Turns out one of the people waiting was the Silver Knight in disguise, and they fully intended to eliminate him. Our boy is furious. He can't believe he trusted these people to avenge him, and he's straight up seething with rage. Ned spends months on the run with the dragon heart, but loses it to one of Jindrion's disciples. Talk about a low blow. He's then brutally beaten in a cave, and it's seriously rough, like really rough. This dude is getting absolutely pummeled, but he's under the control of the marked bug. No way. Lucien shows up, and it's clear he's a nightmare to deal with. Our boy is in deep trouble. Lucien cradles Ned, but it's heartbreaking. He's lost so many people already. She's sobbing, saying first the children and now you, and honestly, it's devastating. Ned's barely conscious and keeps pleading with Lucien, but there's one thing he'll never forget. She's covered in blood and barely holding on, revealing she has no reason to live anymore. This is a total gut punch. Lucien is completely shattered, and it's a scene we won't soon forget. Olden caused so much tragedy, and our boy is remembering all of it right now. He's absolutely furious. All that pain fuels him, and he declares he's going to kill Olden right now. This dude is channeling insane power through that blade. It's glowing with energy, and the air crackles. He's ready to strike, but something's wrong. Energy is surging into his arm, and it's clearly not his own. Okay, so the Demon King is going HAM on our boy, blades flying everywhere, and it's straight up brutal. He's deflecting attacks, but they're coming faster and faster. This fight is intense, no joke. But something's off. He realizes the attacks aren't as precise as they were before, like the Demon King is holding back. Arno shouts and another dude responds. It's a backup, but honestly, it feels a little late to the party. He's activating some kind of auxiliary skill, his best one apparently, and a massive flash of light erupts. This skill is called Battle Light, and it's supposed to significantly boost his power, but is it enough? He's got this determined look on his face, ready to push through, but the Demon King isn't impressed. However, the Demon King still overwhelms him. It's a full-on beatdown, and our boy is clearly struggling. He's thinking about what to do next, trying to find a way out of this mess, but it's looking grim. So he's losing badly, and that's where this chapter ends. Cliffhanger City, honestly. The Demon King launches this massive ice attack, a shooting star of pure destruction, and our boy is trying to shield with light. He activates Enhanced Chain of Light, hoping to block it, but this thing is seriously powerful. The attack connects, clang, scrape, and he's sent flying backwards, taking a huge hit, but he's not down yet. Another explosion, boom, thud, and this dude is getting absolutely pummeled, but he keeps getting back up. He's thinking he can outmaneuver the Demon King, but the Demon King just scoffs. Slow attacks, he says, like it's nothing. The Demon King is moving way too fast, appearing right in front of him, and he's clearly surprised. A green haze surrounds the Demon King, and it looks like he's charging up something even more dangerous. He's trying to react, but the Demon King is already on the attack, moving so quickly it's insane. Our boy is getting completely overwhelmed, dodging and weaving, but the Demon King is relentless. He's still fighting, still trying to find an opening, but honestly, this is looking like a lost cause. He unleashes Shooting Star, a cursed gem skill. It's supposed to slow and weaken the Demon King. The Demon King just laughs, brushing it off like it's nothing, and charges forward with insane speed. Our boy tries to counter, swinging his blade, but the Demon King is already past him. No way he can block. He's going for a desperate attack, yelling as he swings, but the Demon King casually deflects it with a hand. The Demon King's attack lands, and it's a brutal hit. He's sent flying through the air, crashing into buildings. Everything goes white, a massive explosion erupts, and honestly, it looks like the city is getting leveled. He's falling, completely broken, and the Demon King just stands there, looking down on him with pure contempt. Wait, a strange light envelops him. It's the gem skill activating, somehow sending him backwards in time. He's back to being a rookie, weak and untrained, but he remembers everything. This is his chance to change things. He stares into the distance, determined, and straight up vows to destroy the Demon King before it starts. The Golden Knight keeps attacking, and the buildings are literally crumbling around Lucilius. It's total chaos. He's taking a beating, but Lucilius realizes the knight isn't actually trying to kill him. What is going on? The knight unleashes another massive attack, and Lucilius barely manages to deflect it with his shield. He's reeling, but then it hits him. The knight is testing him, gauging his strength. This is wild. Lucilius jumps back, yelling, and unleashes a counterattack, determined to show the knight what he's made of. The knight isn't impressed and keeps coming, relentlessly destroying everything around them. Lucilius is getting pushed back, desperately trying to hold his ground, but the knight is just too powerful. He takes another hit, sending him flying, and honestly, it looks like this fight might be unwinnable. However, Lucilius remembers his past life, his training, and refuses to give up. He's gotta survive. The buildings continue to crumble around them, but Lucilius is focused, ready to face whatever comes next. Wait, hold up, he's worried about the brainwashed priests under the building. That's a lot to process. Uncle Alfonso, no way, he's calling out for help amidst all this destruction, bro. The whole place is crumbling, and it's seriously intense. The sound alone is deafening. He managed to reattach his body, but his armor is wrecked, and he's definitely not at full power. Turns out this whole fight was a setup. They wanted to keep him occupied, stalling for time. With that super durable armor and the healers backing them up, it would have been impossible to break through. But suddenly the focus shifts. The most important thing is protecting Lord Olden, apparently. He knows these two lost their earldom because of his older sister, and it's not their fault. They reveal they ended up working as priests because of it, which is a total mind trip. And honestly, this dude is laying it all out there, hoping to get through to them. Okay, so this high-ranking priest is laying down some serious truth. The world is corrupt and needs fixing. He's got a plan to install the right god, and honestly, it's sounding kinda sus, bro. He wants to make everyone noble in a world they control. Big yikes, that's a power grab if I've ever seen one. But then someone leaps into action. A knight is flying through the air, going full speed. This knight is straight up dashing through the forest, moving way too fast to even see clearly. He's shouting about his brother and Lord Olden, saying they owe everything to him. Major loyalty vibes. No way, he's declaring he won't let anyone harm Lord Olden, that's a promise. Someone else is yelling for Olden to hold on, and they're clearly on their way to help. This knight is moving so fast, he's literally cutting through the air. It's intense. He's piercing through everything in his path, determined to reach Olden, and it's a total power move. No way, the knight slams into the priest, interrupting his monologue with a serious attack. The priest is sent flying, crashing through trees, but he's still somehow defending himself. This dude is wielding a dagger called the Blade of Mirage, and the blade's length keeps changing. He's swinging wildly, determined to protect Olden, and honestly, it's a breathtaking display of power. But the priest isn't going down easy. He's countering with some serious magic, and it's getting intense. Okay, so the Demon King and our boy are going HAM, treating blows that level forests. It's intense. This dude is unleashing some serious energy, and honestly, it's kinda terrifying to look at. He's moving so fast it's a blur, but someone points out that even with all these hits, the Demon King isn't falling. The Demon King unleashes a massive wave of energy, and it looks like our boy is about to get swallowed whole. No way, he's somehow dodging it all, weaving through the attack like it's nothing, but it's still a close call. He swings his sword and it clashes with the Demon King's weapon in a shower of sparks. It's a straight-up power move. But the Demon King just keeps coming, his attacks relentless and overwhelming, pushing our boy to his limit. He's swinging his axe like a madman, but the Demon King is still standing. This fight is brutal. Our boy goes for another swing, but the Demon King deflects it and counters with a devastating blow. And then bam, he's sent flying straight into a mountain, but somehow he's not dead yet, which is wild. He's trying to land a hit, but the Demon King's hand just twitches and deflects the attack easily. The Demon King's hand starts to move at insane speed, like a swarm of bugs is taking over. Those fingers are glowing, and it's not a good glow. They are about to unleash something nasty. Oh no, the Demon King's hand explodes with fiery energy, and it's some seriously corrosive stuff. He's dodging the acid, but it's relentless, and it's melting through everything it touches. The Demon King launches a massive wave of fire and acid, and our boy is completely overwhelmed. He's getting slammed around like a rag doll, taking hit after hit, but still trying to fight back. Our boy is down, and the Demon King is looming over him. It looks like this is the end. However, a blinding light erupts, and the Demon King is forced back. What is happening? It's a massive energy blast, and it's sending a shockwave that's reshaping the entire battlefield. The Demon King's hand is breaking apart, but it's not what we think. It's splitting into a ton of blade-like appendages. He's dodging these crazy blades. They're slicing through the air like razors, but there are just too many. Our boy unleashes a massive energy blast, and it's colliding with the Demon King's attacks in a spectacular explosion. He's trying to get close, but the Demon King's blades keep appearing, blocking every single attempt. The Demon King's blades are getting faster, and this dude is barely keeping up. It's a whirlwind of steel. One of the blades manages to nick him, and it's bad. He's bleeding, and it's clearly not normal blood. He's reeling from the hit, but he's not going down. He's gotta push through this, no matter what. He gathers all his remaining energy, and the sword starts glowing. This is his last stand for real. He swings, and the sword cuts through the Demon King's blades, but the Demon King isn't fazed, not even a little. The Demon King unleashes a final, devastating attack, a massive wave of energy that completely engulfs our boy. The Demon King is straight up mocking him, saying he'll run out of stamina and mana. Talk about confidence. But the Demon King isn't just trash talking. He declares our boy was doomed the second the fight began. However, he admits he actually likes his fighting style, praising his attack power and skills. What a twist. He calls him a remarkable warrior, but then reveals his plan. He's gonna push him to the brink of death. Then, and this is messed up, he wants to implant something in him and make him a servant, replacing the Holy One. The Demon King launches forward, and our boy meets him with a sword swing. Thwack, it looks brutal. He's going in for another attack, but the Demon King is already countering, blades flying everywhere again. The Demon King is deflecting every single blow, and honestly, it's starting to look hopeless for our boy. However, our boy manages to break through the defenses with a powerful strike. It's a small opening. But the Demon King just laughs it off, clearly unfazed by the attack. This dude is on another level. The Demon King's hand clamps down, and our boy's sword arm is nearly crushed. It's brutal, no way. He unleashes a massive blast of energy, and the whole area starts crumbling around them. This is getting intense. The Demon King is just pulverizing everything, and our boy is struggling to even stand. It's a total beatdown. But he manages to fire off a counterattack, a beam of energy that actually pushes the Demon King back. What a comeback. The Demon King laughs and retaliates with even more power, sending rocks flying everywhere. It's an explosion. He's trying to hold on, but the Demon King is relentless, smashing through defenses like they're nothing. Our boy swings again, but the Demon King just deflects it with ease. It's like he's toying with him. However, the Demon King's attack causes a massive fissure to open in the ground. This is seriously dangerous. The Demon King unleashes another wave of energy, and it's overwhelming. Our boy is getting pummeled again. Everything is collapsing, the ground is cracking, and honestly, it looks like the end for our boy, straight up. The Demon King's laying out a deal, riches, power, everything our boy could want if he swallows a bug. He asks if this dude really wants power, and honestly, it's a loaded question. We all know the answer. But then we get a flashback. This isn't the first time someone's been offered this deal. It was his father. Ever since that day, he's been taking the bug's power, killing countless people just to feed it. No way. He's been using this power for a long time, and it's clearly messed him up. This dude is seriously twisted. The Demon King's hand closes in, and our boy's clearly remembering everything. It's a brutal flashback. He's panting, exhausted, but a terrifying resolve crosses his face. He's about to make a choice. However, this isn't about power anymore. It's about ending the cycle. He's ready to fight back. He's staring down the Demon King, and you can feel the tension building. This is gonna be huge. And just like that, he's unleashing everything he's got. The battle is far from over, bro. However, the Demon King isn't even phased. He's barely used any of his power. He casually reveals he's only at 1%, and honestly, that's terrifying. He asks our boy if he was even trying, and it's a low blow, but it gets under his skin. The Demon King's all smug, but our boy is definitely holding back something. You can feel it. But the Demon King is shocked. He can't believe our boy survived that attack at all. He's reeling, trying to figure out how this is possible. This dude is seriously confused. Our boy explains he had to give Ned something to do. It's a convoluted plan, but we're here for it. He's gathering energy, and it's a golden glow. This is a serious power-up, bro. The energy explodes outward, and the Demon King is caught in the blast. It's intense. He's radiating pure power, and it's blinding. This dude is about to unleash hell. He's got nowhere left to test his newfound power, and straight up decides to use it now. No hesitation. He activates Dragonification, a skill that temporarily boosts his power by 9%. It's not much, but it's something. The Demon King's eyes snap open, glowing red, and our boy's transformation starts. It's intense and scary. He's unleashing everything, but the Demon King isn't impressed. He's just waiting. This is a bad sign, bro. Okay, so it turns out our boy's got twin sons, and they're straight up magical. They share a weird connection. Flashback time, 25 years ago, someone's explaining to the Earl that his sons have an uncommon magical resonance. They act totally different when apart, but when they're near each other, it's like they're the same person. It's a rare phenomenon. Both sons have insane mana capacity and a natural sense for it, meaning they could be powerful knights if trained right. But if the Earl just leaves them to their own devices, they'll be stuck in their own little world, and that's bad news. The Earl is determined to help them, no matter what it takes, and honestly, good on him for trying. However, Olden takes an interest in them, and that's where things get sketchy, because this dude is clearly up to no good. Olden secretly pulls strings to make sure the twins don't inherit their title, then hires them to work for him. Talk about manipulative. Okay, so the twins have this combo attack, the Sunblade and Moonblade, and it's straight up terrifying. A Golden Knight attacks, leaving an opening, but the Silver Knight steps in to cover him instantly. Everyone thinks they're predictable, leaving themselves open after each attack, but hold up. However, they're using a magical bond to control each other's swords, creating an insane, unbroken flow. This combo exceeds their individual speed and precision, making their attacks totally impenetrable. No way. There are literally no pauses when these two fight together. It's just a relentless storm of blades. They call this technique Eclipse, and honestly, it lives up to the name. It's completely overwhelming. The attack is a blinding flash of light and energy, and the whole battlefield is getting wrecked. He gets it now. It's a perfect, synchronized dance of destruction, and it's absolutely brutal. Our boy realizes the twins' technique is similar to the Dragon King's floating cloud, a secret martial art. This defensive technique sharpens electrical energy, deflecting attacks when fighting alongside another disciple. Clever. It's not quite the Twin Knight's ability because this uses electricity instead of pure mana, but the energy flow is the same. However, both techniques instantly convert energy into attacks or defense. It's all about redirecting force. So our boy starts analyzing Olden's attacks, determining the exact flow and timing of each swing. Olden jumps, launching a furious attack, but our boy is ready. He's anticipating every move. Deflects the blade with precision, countering with a swift strike of his own. This is intense. Olden's sword cuts through the air, but our boy is already moving, dodging the attack with incredible speed. The clash of steel echoes as they trade blows, each attack more powerful than the last. No one's backing down. But Olden is relentless, continuing his assault. This dude is straight up a fighting machine. He lands a blow, but Olden is furious. He's asking what they did to his brother Pollux. Olden straight up losing it, teeth clenched, face contorted with rage. This is bad. He demands to know what awful things they did to Pollux and what made him abandon their family technique. Castor doesn't even flinch and ignores the cries of Olden. He's blocking everything out. Suddenly, Olden's past screams echo in Castor's head, but he stubbornly refuses to listen. 3 minutes, no, 1 minute. Castor is counting down, and it sounds like a deadline is looming. He grips his sword, a terrifying red energy erupting around him. This is a whole new level of power. Castor unleashes a flurry of crimson blades, a whirlwind of destruction aimed right at his opponents. The blades slice through the air with a swish, and Olden is caught completely off guard. No way. This dude is moving so fast, he's a blur of red, and honestly, it looks like Olden doesn't stand a chance. Castor's using the Silver Knight sword technique, and he knows Olden won't ignore that. This is huge. He's calculating if he lets the Golden Knight reach Olden, Olden will ensure his escape, no matter what. Olden will be way more cautious after losing the Silver Knight, and who knows what reinforcements he'll bring. This is it. Castor realizes this is his only chance to end things right now, and he's going all in. He's swinging that sword with everything he's got, determined to beat Olden before it's too late. The blades fly, a crimson storm, and Olden's totally caught off guard. No way he saw that coming. Castor's moving like a blur, a whirlwind of red, but Olden manages to deflect the attack barely. A blade slices across Olden's cheek, drawing blood, and this dude is seriously getting hurt. Olden swings back, but Castor dodges and another blade connects. This fight is brutal. The swords clash again and again, a flurry of steel and red energy, but honestly, it's a stalemate. Castor activates his crow's cloak and straight up clones himself. This is getting wild. He's teleporting, leaving a shimmering afterimage, and Olden is totally thrown off. What a move. Olden tries to hit the clone with a lightning palm, but it's just a distraction. He's too quick. The real Castor appears behind Olden, and our boy is caught completely off guard. No way this ends well. Castor lands a massive blow, and Olden's getting blasted back, but he manages to block with his sword. The impact sends shockwaves through the area, and Olden's arm is cracking. Ouch, that looked painful. Olden thinks he stopped Castor, sees an opening, and is ready to strike, but this is a trap. Castor's clones converge, surrounding Olden, and honestly, this dude is cornered. Castor screams, unleashing another attack, and Olden's about to get absolutely wrecked. Hold up. Olden's down, but he's not out, and he's determined to fight back. This fight is far from over. Olden blocks Castor's attack, but it's stronger than he thought. The force is insane. He realizes he messed up, yelling for someone to wait, but it's already too late. Castor's relentless. Castor's sword cuts through Olden's armor, and this dude is seriously hurt. Blood is flowing everywhere. Olden tries to fight back, but Castor keeps pressing the attack. He's completely overwhelmed, and it's brutal. He manages to land a blow, sending Castor flying, but it's a desperate last-ditch effort. Can't catch a break. Castor's back on his feet instantly, and he stabs Olden right through the shoulder. Ouch, that looks agonizing. Olden grits his teeth, trying to withstand the pain, but he's clearly losing. This is bad, really bad. Castor twists the blade, and Olden screams, straight up horrifying, and it's only getting worse. The attack lands, splattering blood everywhere, and Olden's going down. It's a total mess. And honestly, this fight is over. Olden is defeated, and Castor stands victorious. Castor's got Olden pinned, calling him a nuisance and declaring this is where it ends. Harsh. He swings that massive sword, and Olden's trying to block, but it's a struggle. He's getting crushed. The blade slices through Olden's defenses and straight into his chest. No way, this is brutal. Olden clutches at the wound, trying to stop the bleeding, but it's a lost cause. Ugh, so much blood. He's gasping for air, hand covered in blood, and barely holding on. This is it, isn't it? Okay, so things are bad. This massive fortress is collapsing, and our boy is straight up yelling while trying to hold it together. The building is crumbling fast. 1, 2, 3, it's falling apart around him, but he's managing to brace it for now. He's clearly beat up, but this dude demands help from the knight, telling him to get over here when he's done recovering. He's thinking they did okay because breaking up the building slowed the collapse and they used defensive skills. Honestly, a little optimistic. But wait, he realizes Olden cleared out the building beforehand, which is huge. It's starting to click for him. The healer gets to work and the knight groans, but our boy's got a bigger problem. All the larvae inside are suddenly dead at the same time. That means Olden is either dead or powerless now, and that's not good. This is a massive shift in the power dynamic. He hears a step and bro looks absolutely horrified by whatever's approaching. No way this is good. Seriously, his face is saying it all. Total panic. Whatever's coming is a big deal. This dude is realizing things aren't going as planned, and things are about to get real fast. Okay, so they stopped Olden's plan and retook the temple, but it's not a celebration. It's a tense standoff. He's hugging the healer tight and the knight's got his arm around them, but this feels less like victory and more like bracing for impact. The knight is getting patched up and our boy realizes something is off. All the larvae are suddenly dead inside. Turns out Olden is either dead or powerless, which is a huge problem because something else is definitely coming. This dude is straight up terrified by whatever's approaching, and honestly, his reaction is justified. He realizes their plan didn't work as expected. Olden intentionally cleared the building, and now they're trapped. The healer is getting pulled into a hug, and it's a desperate attempt to protect her, but it feels hopeless. He's making a last stand, refusing to let anything happen to her, and this is where things get intense. The plot twist: she's the one who needs protecting, and she's using her power to shield them both. And now we find out there's one more crucial thing to take care of: a golden chalice bathed in light. Olden raises the golden chalice in a toast, but it's a twisted ceremony. He's purging something. Someone drinks from the chalice and straight up has a seizure. Their face cracks with power. Olden reveals there were Tartarus worshippers among them for years, and this is the purge. No way, people are dropping dead, covered in blood, and it's a total massacre. The healer realizes Olden is unbelievably powerful, able to mind control even a priest. Olden casually sips tea while explaining he's been immobile for days because of this purge. He's smirking and the healer is freaking out. This dude is playing 4D chess. Olden admits he intentionally cleared the temple, setting a trap for whoever came after him. The healer's power flares up, protecting them both, but it's clear they're in serious danger. But honestly, Olden's plan is working perfectly, and our boy is trapped in a nightmare. Olden is straight up holding Olden's head like a severed head, and this dude is totally unfazed. He explains Olden was an executive of the Tartarus worshippers, and now he'll be useful creepy. The healer gulps, realizing this is way over his head, and Olden's just smirking like it's nothing. Olden reveals they already tortured Olden for everything they needed, so now it doesn't matter what happens. The healer is horrified, but Olden's eyes glow red as he delivers a chilling okay. This dude throws Olden's head into a bizarre cage of thorny vines, and it's called Memora's Cage. The cage preserves whatever's trapped inside, preventing them from using their skills. No escape. Olden's head screams in agony as the vines tighten, and honestly, this dude had it coming. Olden casually points at the cage, confirming it's Olden's head trapped inside, so messed up. But our boy realizes this is all part of Olden's plan, and he's trapped in a nightmare of his own making. Someone hands our boy a document labeled Slide, and another character eagerly asks to see it. This dude starts reading, and his face immediately goes from curious to absolutely horrified. No way. He realizes the document details a plan to summon the god of destruction and then rebuild the world. But it gets worse. The ones pushing this insane plan are the Eastern Union. He explains that the Kingdom of KN is split between two major powers, the Western Alliance and the Eastern Union. They were originally equals, but then Duke Giornetti's family in the Western Alliance got a huge power boost. The balance of power shifted, and now the Western Alliance is seriously flexing on everyone. However, it turns out Olden predicted all of this, and this dude is playing a long game. Olden reveals he's been using the healer to gather information about the Eastern Union's plans. And honestly, this is a mess. Olden is straight up manipulating everyone for his own goals. This dude is laying out the problem. The difference between the nobles is getting out of control. He explains that's why Tartarus worshippers are spreading like wildfire among the nobles. Apparently, the 8 most difficult quests in the world have resurfaced, and they are all dragon-related. The blue dragon Artalis and the ice dragon Marenia are attacking the west, and things are getting desperate. Our boy reveals they rushed to complete this raid for a reason, and it's connected to this chaos. The blue dragon built a nest near the largest breadbasket on the continent, huge problem for supplies. And the ice dragon straight up took over the great port, cutting off trade in the west, total disaster. People are losing homes, nobles are broke, and that's why so many are joining the Tartarus worshippers. But here's the twist: the Tartarus worshippers didn't actually cause this, they provoked the dragons. The dragons aren't working with them, and honestly, this whole situation is way more complicated than it seems. Olden announces Ned and he are taking on the dragons. Talk about stepping up. But Liz is not having it. She straight up asks if he doesn't need her help. Olden offers his hand like he's being generous, but it's a power move, honestly. Lies calls him out, asking if he's saying she's useless, and oof, that's a burn. Okay, so our boy is facing off against the head of the Tardaris worshippers, and things are looking intense. This dude just unleashes some seriously creepy, tentacled power. It's all pink and glowy and kinda gross. Someone's freaking out, straight up terrified of what's happening, and honestly, we can't blame them. But hold up, this dude realizes the head of the Tardaris worshippers actually has the dragon heart. He's confronting them, demanding to know why they didn't care about getting the dragon heart, which is weird. Turns out not getting the dragon heart was part of their bigger plan, which is never good news. So they were totally cool with disposing of Olden and the Twin Knights, which is messed up. However, their plan got messed up because our boy got involved way earlier than expected, 2 years too soon. This dude's laying down some serious shade, realizing they were planning this for a long time. And it all comes back around to the bigger plan. They wanted to take out the Twin Knights eventually anyway. Our boy is questioning if the Demon King was closer to Olden than he let on, but he quickly realizes that wouldn't explain why he was allowed to torture him. The Twin Knights and another warrior rush to defend against an attack, but it's looking grim out there. This red-haired dude is determined to buy time, and the blonde knight reveals he's still holding onto a piece of the dragon's glory. Our boy is straight up floored by their loyalty. It's so sweet, he can barely process it. The Demon King stomps, unleashing a wave of energy, and things are about to get real chaotic. No way, the Demon King is absorbing the energy, growing even more powerful, and it's terrifying to watch. He's unleashing all this power, and it's clear he's not messing around. The Twin Knights are in serious danger. However, the blonde knight is holding onto that shard of glory, and it's clearly going to play a part. But the Demon King is too strong. He's overpowering the knights and their defenses, and it's a brutal clash. The Demon King is glowing with power, and it looks like the knights are about to be overwhelmed, which is not good. The Demon King unleashes this insane skill, Ancient Dragon Shadow, and it's immediately draining everyone's mana. Knights are trying to fight it, but they're getting weaker by the second. This spell is brutal. Our boy realizes what's happening and is losing it. He's like, what is this skill? As his own mana vanishes. The Demon King is straight up taunting them, saying they can't break his spell, so arrogant. He's layering curses on top of curses. Curse of pain, curse of sickness, curse of corruption. It's a nightmare. But the Demon King is bored. He thought this would take longer, and now he's just dismissing it as a waste of time. He's declaring he's done, and this insane energy is building up around him. It's about to explode. The energy erupts and the knights are completely engulfed. It's a total wipeout, honestly. The blonde knight is getting absolutely wrecked by the curses, but he's still trying to hold on. Our boy is in so much pain, tears streaming down his face. It's heartbreaking, but also kinda badass. Our boy screams, "Let there be light," and unleashes this insane power. It's seriously epic. He's channeling the Sword of Light, and it's blasting away the Demon King's darkness, but it's draining him. He's activating Dragonification and popping a Meteor Tears potion. This dude is going all out. But wait, he's also using Hermes' secret skill to boost the potion by 500%. No way. He's calculating he can hold the Sword of Light for 10 seconds without the goddess' help. Risky, but cool. However, he knows if the Demon King tries anything, he's totally screwed right now. The Demon King's about to unleash a massive attack, and our boy knows a head-on fight is suicide. The Demon King's power is cracking everything around him, and it's terrifying, straight-up nightmare fuel. He's bracing for the worst, accepting he'll take damage, but determined to avoid a direct clash. Demon King is unleashing pure evil, and our boy is ready to dodge. This is gonna be intense. The Demon King is absolutely furious that our boy managed to hurt him, like, seriously ticked off. He monologues about conquering 10 worlds, and honestly, this dude is just bragging now. He insists it's impossible for a human to harm him, demanding the record be wiped clean. Total ego. The Demon King wants a rematch to prove his dominance and straight up demands it, so predictable. But there's a flash of light and suddenly a winged woman appears. Who is this mysterious savior? She tells our boy the Demon King is obsessed with maintaining a perfect score. What even is that? She explains the Demon King only sends his strongest generals after worthy opponents. High praise. She says he's sure the leader of the Tardaris worshippers is on his way. Things are escalating fast. However, she's got his back, offering to help him fight. Thank goodness for allies. She looks at him with a determined gaze, and bro is looking right back. This is a team-up we needed. Our boy admits he was starting to think this whole trip was a waste of time, but then he has an idea. He asks if they really want to know what's going on, and bro is giving off major villain vibes. If anyone's curious, he says he'll spill the secret, but it's gonna cost him. He's holding a golden coin and it's glowing with power. This is some serious energy right here. He's ready to give away the secret if he has to, but it's clear he doesn't want to. Our boy is flipping a coin and he's nailing it, calling tails every single time like it's nothing. He's showing off to someone, claiming he can do it 100 times in a row if he's trained his eyes. He says anyone can do it if they've trained their eyes, and then boom, he reveals the trick. He taps the coin, revealing a symbol, and honestly, it's a straight-up cheat code. The other guy yells it's tails, and it's a total shock, but our boy already knew. No way, he was reading the symbol the entire time, right before the other guy covered it. But then everything goes dark and it's super ominous. Something big is happening. He's clearly confused, and we are too. What just happened? It looks like he's been sent back, bro, because he doesn't understand any of this. He questions why this guy would suggest a game where the first one to speak wins. It's super sus. The Demon King throws his hand forward, and our boy immediately lifts his own to meet it. It's intense. He shouts heads, and a flash of light explodes between their hands like a crazy energy blast. The force is insane. Everything cracks and breaks around them, but our boy stands firm. Then boom, a massive explosion rocks the area, sending shockwaves everywhere. The Demon King is engulfed in purple energy, and it's honestly terrifying. This isn't good. Our boy realizes what's going on, and it's a total game changer. He's figured out the Demon King's plan. He soon finds out why the Demon King wanted him to speak first, and it's a brutal twist. Now he's back in his old body, all weak and powerless, but determined to change things. But he's already got a plan, and he's ready to speedrun the apocalypse before it even starts. The Demon King lays down the rules. If he can flip the coin over before the hand lifts, he wins. A golden coin shines in the darkness. It's the key to everything, apparently. This dude goes all in, channeling a crazy amount of power, and straight up tries to stop the Demon King's hand. Wham! He unleashes a massive energy blast, but the Demon King is unfazed. This is getting intense. Our boy follows up with a slam and a swish, pushing his power even further. It's a whirlwind of energy. He manages to lift his hand. It's a power struggle with a shockingly simple rule, but the Demon King isn't backing down. The Demon King lunges forward, unleashing a torrent of purple energy. No way is this going to end well. Pow! The clash is explosive, and everything around them is getting destroyed. It's a full-blown energy war. Crack! The ground shatters under the force, but our boy is still standing, determined to change his fate. The Demon King unleashes everything he's got, and our boy is taking a beating. It's a full-on power clash. He's laying down some serious wisdom. Starting a fight with no end in sight is a terrible idea. But this dude is determined, and he's channeling all his energy into one final push. It's now or never. He's going for the coin again, but the Demon King isn't making it easy, and their powers are colliding wildly. The Demon King throws a punch, and our boy barely manages to dodge, but it's clear he's losing ground. He's unleashing a massive blast, but the Demon King just laughs it off. This is getting frustrating. The Demon King's eyes are glowing red, and he's totally locked in. This is seriously intense. Just like that, the match is settled, and everything goes dark. What just happened? He's launching another attack, a blinding white streak, and it looks like he's trying to break free. However, the Demon King's energy engulfs everything, and it's clear our boy is overwhelmed. No way out. Our boy is unleashing Jindrion's electric acceleration. It's a crazy surge of power and lightning. He fires a golden energy blast, but the Demon King just swats it away like it's nothing. Seriously. The Demon King's eyes are locked on him, and he's announcing this is Jindrion's electric acceleration. It's ominous. Straight up, the attack connects and sends a massive shockwave. The place is crumbling around them. Everything is falling apart, rocks are flying, and honestly, it looks like the whole place is collapsing. Demon King is still standing though, and he's clearly not impressed. This dude is tough. He's running through the wreckage trying to get away, but the destruction is following him. No escape. The Demon King moves at impossible speed, closing the distance. It's a terrifying chase. Another blast of energy and more debris goes flying, but our boy is still pushing forward. He's relentless. He's dodging and weaving, but the Demon King is relentless. This is a brutal fight to the finish. It's a draw. Wait, what? The fight ends in a stalemate, but the building is totally wrecked. They manage to get the cult leader away without major damage, which is something, honestly. Everyone's talking about how amazing Zephyr is and how he figured out what the Demon King was thinking. Apparently, the terms of the fight were insane. The winner could ask the loser for anything or reveal their identity. But since it's a draw, the match is just postponed. There's going to be a rematch later. Someone starts to step forward and the tension is building. Who is it? It's Zephyr, Lord Lucius himself, and he looks straight up imposing. This is getting intense. He's walking towards someone and everyone is staring. What's about to happen? Zephyr's about to make a request, but honestly, we all know it won't be simple. And just when you think you know what's going on, the panel cuts to black. Talk about a cliffhanger. Okay, so Zephyr reveals they made an oath bond, a promise with serious consequences. If either of them breaks their word, they lose one of their 5 senses for a whole month. No way. Zephyr straight up refuses to reveal the head of the Tartarus worshippers right now. He's playing the long game. He's smirking and it's kinda creepy, honestly. This dude is enjoying the suspense. Now Lord Lucius and another guy are grilling him, demanding answers, but Zephyr won't budge. Zephyr says he'll only tell people he really trusts, which is a super shady move. He's basically saying he'll reveal it after their rematch. Talk about a power play. Someone else steps forward trying to help Zephyr remember, maybe jog his memory. But Zephyr shuts it down, saying he won't tell anyone directly. He's a master of manipulation. And then he just walks off, leaving everyone hanging. This dude is a menace. Okay, so Zephyr's laying down the law. He needs to be the one to make the final blow against the Demon King. Okay, so things are super tense right now. Our boy and another dude are laying in bed, talking strategy. They're discussing the head of the Tartarus worshippers, and straight up, this guy sounds terrifyingly powerful. Based on some info they got from Zephyr, they realize they'll have to beat this dude, which is easier said than done. But get this, it turns out Zephyr helped our boy get revenge, and honestly, he's feeling indebted. He vows to repay Zephyr, even if it means fighting the worst enemy imaginable, no cap. And then boom, this dude starts channeling some serious energy like glowing muscles and blue smoke level power. He's powering up, getting ready for a rematch, and it's clear he means business. However, the dude is thinking about how he's going to repay Zephyr, and he's determined to do so. He's promising to fight anyone, even the most powerful foe, to settle the score. This dude is unleashing a massive amount of energy, and it looks like he's about to go all out. Okay, so our boy gets absolutely destroyed. The Demon King just wipes the floor with him, no contest. But here's the crazy part. As he's fading, he realizes someone messed with time itself. This dude is ranting about how no one changes easily, whether they're human, demon, or a god. He explains that if someone acts out of character, it means the future interfered with the past. And then boom, he wakes up, but he's back in his weakest form, a total rookie. Apparently, the cult leader originally planned to reveal his ultimate power to his apostles, but something changed. This dude thinks the cult leader still wants the apostles to handle things, and he's determined to figure it out. He remembers the Demon King didn't even try to kill Ned and Lucius, just brushed them off like bugs. So now he's wondering if the Demon King just wanted to find out who had the dragon heart, straight up suspicious. Our boy is thinking hard, trying to connect the dots, and honestly, this is getting intense. He's got a new perk, a silver key that unlocks a hidden room for storage, and it's already in his hand. An angel appears and starts leveling up the key's powers, saying she has something to tell him. She reveals she showed up when he threatened the gods, and this key is connected to that event. But it turns out he's getting an upgrade because she needs a favor. She wants him to finish his mission. He's instantly transported somewhere and someone is clearly waiting for him, but it's a trap. This dude is getting ambushed by a whole crew and he's taking serious damage, covered in blood, no way. He's totally surrounded, but he's activating something with the key and a bright light explodes around him. He's suddenly falling through the air and everything around him is frozen or covered in snow. He lands in a massive, icy fortress, and it looks like he's been transported to another dimension. Someone is definitely expecting him because the fortress is shifting and changing to welcome his arrival. So the angel is welcoming him, and this dude is immediately asking about perks, classic. She's got a fluffy blue beast on a chain, and honestly, it looks kinda cute. He mentions the silver key and asks if she's the one who gave it to him, thinking he's got her figured out. But she snaps her fingers and the blue beast is suddenly gone. She's teleporting things now. She's explaining she can't let him blackmail the gods again with his life, which is a wild accusation. While she's talking, she's pouring a drink and our boy is staring daggers. The tension is real. She's revealing more about the key, and it seems like it's tied to some serious power. However, she's just messing with him, saying she was amused by his antics, and bro is not happy. And just like that, she vanishes, straight up teleporting away, leaving our boy to process everything. Okay, so this shadowy figure appears and lays down the law. Whoever kills him gets all his perks. Suddenly, a white-haired dude shows up, looking all intense and brooding, and starts talking about serving the gods. The gods want him to complete their requests, and in return, he'll get even more perks. It's a divine side quest. He's getting promised rewards of the highest quality, and doves are flying around. It's a whole angelic production. The angel explains this is all like she told him from the start. She's been playing the long game, no way. She's flexing her power and gold energy is flowing into her hands and her armor is clicking into place. She's serious. She's straight up saying that by serving the gods, he'll receive everything he desires. It's a tempting offer. However, she's hinting at a deeper scheme, like there's more to this than just simple rewards. This is getting complicated. She repeats that he'll receive additional perks as a reward for completing these divine requests. She's really driving it home. And she guarantees the rewards are carefully selected and of the highest quality. This dude is in for a wild ride. Okay, so the raid on the temple is coming up fast and everyone is watching. Talk about pressure. He's getting gifted this misty bracelet that's a cloaking device and adjusts to his size. Super useful. Our boy thinks he's in the clear since he has the bracelet, but he knows not to go out the front gate. Then Claudia shows up with a care package and honestly, that's just sweet of her. This care package boosts health and mana, and apparently Claudia's food has mysterious healing powers. No way. She hands him the basket, wishing him luck on his long journey. This is a good moment, honestly. Okay, so rewind to when Alter was 16. She straight up inherits this massive territory and becomes Grand Duchess of Lindell. We get a full look at Lindell Fortress and it is huge, like kingdom-sized huge, seriously impressive. Our boy is riding into Lindell looking all stoic, but he's got a sealed letter that's clearly important. Someone sends a message to Alter, and she's the only one who can help with this upcoming dragon raid. No pressure, right? A mysterious dude with red hair shows up, saying they need to see the master of Lindell Fortress, and honestly, he's kinda intense. Another guy, looking way more regal, hands off a letter with his seal, insisting Alter is the only one who can help. The red-haired dude explains they came here for help, but worries if the princess will actually be able to handle the dragon raid. But Alter's already got a plan and she's ready to lead them, even though things are looking pretty dire. She's got a serious look on her face. She knows this dragon raid is gonna be a problem, but she's not backing down. However, this whole situation feels like a setup, and I'm getting major bad vibes from everyone involved. This dude is seriously doubting Alter will help with the dragon raid. He thinks she's wasting her talent. No way. Suddenly a knight gets absolutely slammed through a wall, and things are getting real. The red-haired dude is shocked, thinking these guys are just street thugs, but they're actually suitors. He yells about the disturbance, but honestly the knight is a mess, and it's kinda his fault. The older knight looms over everyone, looking furious. This is escalating fast. Everyone's freaking out, realizing these aren't thugs, they're nobles trying to get Alter's attention. But Alter is a total powerhouse. She forfeited her claim to the throne and title to become a priestess. She was born with everything, and she's Aslan's brightest star, but she's choosing a different path. Seriously, this woman is giving up power and prestige. She's a legend in the making. And now she's all in on helping, which is good because this dragon raid is about to be insane. Okay, so the princess succeeds her father without a fight. Talk about a smooth transition. But marrying the princess means her son will be the next king, not whoever she marries. These two old dudes are scheming, making it clear they want their grandson on the throne. The princess is listening in, and she's not amused. She's about to drop a truth bomb. She's saying she won't waste her time, and honestly, good for her. She's taking control. Now, a massive crowd is gathering, all trying to get a moment with the princess. However, every single one of those hopeful suitors ends up getting absolutely destroyed. This dude is getting absolutely wrecked, and it's brutal, straight up obliterated. She's laying down the law. No one is getting close unless they can prove themselves worthy. Our boy is stepping up ready to fight, and I have a feeling things are about to get intense. Ophelia, Alter's bodyguard, is next up. She's a total beast ready to fight. She's going hard, cutting down enemies left and right, but they're surprisingly strong. The old man's realizing these opponents aren't pushovers, and the princess's power is connected to them. Turns out they're facing one of the 10 strongest people on the continent. No wonder it's a struggle. She's slashing through the enemy, but she's taking damage too, which is wild. Our boy is watching, and he's starting to understand just how serious this situation is. He calls out to her, trying to get her attention, but she's totally focused on the fight. She keeps fighting, but it's clear she's up against a force that's way beyond her league. However, she's determined to protect Altair, even if it means sacrificing herself. Talk about loyalty. She's yelling next, and honestly, this is a straight-up boss move. This dude in the line is losing it, yelling about waiting 3 days for the end of it. Everyone spots a gold bird insignia and immediately assumes it's a priest from the Sky Temple, second most powerful religion, apparently. Someone thinks this priest was paid to fight, which is a good call, honestly. The priest steps forward and drops a message from Lucius Giornetti, the Holy One of Light. Talk about a power move. He demands everyone step aside, claiming it's an urgent matter, and bro is not taking no for an answer. The guard tries to hold him back, but the priest is like, do you want to be responsible? Major intimidation. The guard caves instantly, waving him through, and honestly, good choice, it's not worth the trouble. Someone mutters about what a nuisance this is, but then realizes the Holy One was supposedly on a dungeon raid. Our boy is clearly annoyed by all this, but he's keeping his cool for now. She's laying down the law. No one is getting close unless they can prove themselves worthy. Okay, so the priest just casually drops a bomb. Lucius and the princess are having an affair. Everyone's shocked, but then he adds they even have a secret kid hidden in the temple. No way. Our boy Lucius is not happy, straight up punches the priest across the room with a thwack. The priest goes flying into a building, causing a massive crash. This is escalating quickly. Someone yells for Father Jacob, but Lucius is already moving, a whirlwind of fury. Lucius is ranting about being the only one she's ever been with, and calling anyone who says otherwise delusional. He's snapping his fingers and sending people flying. This dude is unleashing serious power. He's so enraged, he's practically foaming at the mouth, teeth bared. It's kinda terrifying, TBH. But why is he so focused on Altair? He's convinced someone is trying to get her involved. Lucius is absolutely losing it, vowing to destroy anyone who even thinks about her. Wow. Lucius is absolutely losing it, laughing and saying it's been months since a real fight. This dude is a menace. He's rambling about not remembering how long it's been, straight up admitting he's been itching for a challenge. But he's not just talking about any fight, he's saying he wants to break someone, and honestly, it's terrifying. Okay, so this powerful noblewoman is straight up grilling someone, demanding to know what they can offer her. Turns out Eurydice can't just read minds like before, but she can learn this thing called communion, a sensory reading ability. She's using that power to gather allies, building a force to fight back against these Tartarus worshippers, which sounds bad. At first, she only wanted success, but then her teacher, Ned, gets taken out, and now it's personal, revenge time. This noblewoman is sitting pretty, surrounded by power, but honestly, it's all a setup. She's baiting warriors. These Tartarus worshippers are tearing the kingdom apart, and even the heir to the throne, Altair, can't handle it alone. Someone's realizing the whole searching for a suitor thing is a total ruse, a way to attract strong fighters. But with the Tartarus worshippers just devouring everything, even Altair has his limits. Things are getting desperate. This dude is seeing the big picture. The kingdom's falling apart, and Altair can't save it without help. This dude is channeling some serious power. Golden energy is exploding from his hand. No way. He's promising this noblewoman whatever she wants, but it sounds like he has a better plan. Whoa, he's unleashing a massive burst of energy. It's like a golden wave is about to crash. He's not wasting time with explanations, straight up saying he'll show her what she seeks. And honestly, the power-up is complete. He's transformed into a total beast with a flowing cape. Eurydice is protesting, saying it's too much, but Altair is already gearing up for a fight. She's begging him not to, but he's giving her 3 chances to strike him with her sword. What is happening? The sword's glowing and she's lunging forward. This is about to get intense and fast. She swings, but he's moving like lightning. A golden energy shield deflects the attack. Another swing, another deflection. This dude is seriously untouchable, but the energy is still surging. Altair is assessing his opponent, realizing he's facing a master with no obvious weaknesses. This is tense. She's thinking she needs to attack, but she's worried about jumping in without a plan, and honestly, smart move. But before she can even think about a strategy, Altair is already moving, a blur of speed and power. A butterfly lands on a rose, and for a split second it's peaceful. However, that peace is instantly shattered. The butterfly isn't what it seems. It's a distraction as Altair unleashes a blindingly fast attack. She swings her sword, trying to intercept, but it's no use. The butterfly is already a blur, heading straight for her. Butterfly's wings flap, a deceptively delicate movement, but it's actually a devastating strike. The butterfly's wing slices through the air, and petals from the rose explode outward. This is brutal. A flash of light and petals are flying everywhere. She's barely managed to block, but is she okay? The attack lands and she's sent reeling, but straight up, she's still standing. This fight is far from over. He attacks with everything he's got, a furious flurry of blows, but the Demon King doesn't even flinch. He's going for a second strike, a desperate attempt to break through, but the Demon King is just too strong. Even stabbing with all his might, the sword can't pierce the Demon King's skin. Seriously, what is this guy made of? He launches a third attack, faster and more furious, but the Demon King meets it with overwhelming power. The boy loses his grip on the sword mid-swing, and a heavy hand comes crashing down. Ouch. She's sent flying, crashing into something, but she's still conscious. She's tough, I'll give her that. The Demon King taps her on the shoulder like it's nothing, and she flinches. Talk about a power move. He asks if he should continue, and honestly, that's a terrifying question to ask after all that. She's shocked, wondering when he even got behind her. This dude is moving way too fast, no way. But it's not over. She's realizing he's been toying with her the entire time, and that's messed up. Someone's seriously impressed with this guy. They think he's remarkable in every way, but wonder where he even came from. She hears about the blue dragon destroying the grain belt, and it sounds like someone's planning to do something about it. She's shocked. Apparently, trying to grow more farmland is a terrible idea because of these Tardaris worshippers. But there's a plan to cultivate the thorny mountains instead, and it's the only real option on the table. He's laying out a strategy: distract the enemy while they are in the dungeon. It's a risky play. He's all intense, explaining how they can pull this off, and honestly, he looks ready for war. She asks what he wants, and this woman is straight up playing hardball. She's a negotiator. She says she'll take any compensation he's willing to give, and there's something seriously calculating about her. She's got a plan, and she's totally in control of the situation. This is a power move if I've ever seen one. He's getting ready to move, and it's clear he's about to unleash everything he's got. This is gonna be huge. She asks what his chances are of beating the blue dragon, and this dude doesn't give a straight answer. He says it depends on the princess. Talk about a loaded statement, right? He's handing her a mage crystal, something an ancestor entrusted to him, and it's clearly important. This crystal is no joke. It's an elite spellbook that teaches magic through meditation. But there's a catch: the ancient magic line is broken, and she needs to master it to level up. She's shocked. Apparently, Altair learned this magic young, but hit a wall around this time. He's dropping knowledge, explaining that the crystal will instantly awaken her full power. And it'll let her smoothly adjust the dragon heart for him. This dude is playing a long game. He's totally laying it all out there and expects her to summon him again if she's impressed. The doors are creaking open and the tension is insane. Something big is about to happen. Her boy is straight up devastated. He desperately misses her, but it's like they've never met in this life. But thanks to Lucius, they're meeting now, and he's already scheming to win her over from afar. He's got a plan to show her what he can do, convinced she'll come looking for him soon. Ophelia and someone else are checking him out, and she thinks he's a powerful warrior. However, the other person is worried Lucius recommended him. Something feels off, and honestly, it does. Okay, so our boy is breaking into Princess Eurydice's tomb, and it's glowing with magical energy. He's surrounded by these crazy ice formations, and straight up, it looks like he's about to hit the jackpot. This dude thinks the raid is a success, the investors are happy, and everything is going according to plan. But hold up, he's finally got his hands on the Mage Crystal, the spellbook he's been searching for forever, and it's gonna boost his magic. The crystal contains ancient magic from the kingdom of Media, which Eurydice mastered, and it's the key to leveling up his abilities. However, it turns out his teacher Altair knew this was coming and is giving him a bittersweet goodbye. It's a pretty emotional scene. Honestly, Altair says this is all he can teach him, and he trusts his disciple will figure things out. But the real kicker is that Altair is giving him a way to complete the magic, and something else is up. This dude is about to unlock some serious power, and it's all happening in this icy tomb. No way, it seems like a huge deal is about to go down, and this dude is right in the middle of it. Okay, so the crystal explodes with magic, and this dude is suddenly flooded with ancient knowledge. He's seeing these swirling patterns like constellations and realizing this magic is alive. No way, the magic isn't just flowing into him, it's a consciousness and it recognizes him. This is getting intense. The magic calls him its descendant, and it's been waiting for him for centuries. But here's the twist, it's not just the magic, it's an overmind trapped inside the crystal, and it's been expecting him. And honestly, it's kinda creepy how excited this ancient being is to finally meet our boy. The Overmind declares him its heir, like the rightful owner of all this power and knowledge. Straight up, this is a massive power-up, and it's setting the stage for something huge. He's absorbing all this energy, and it looks like he's about to become seriously overpowered. However, the Overmind is saying this is more than just inheritance. It's like they're meant to work together. He's handing over a bracelet, but it's a trap. He's glad to be rid of it, claiming he hates parties. More importantly, he's warning the other guy about a powerful enemy inside the fortress. This dude is pushing a second bracelet on him, saying he needs both to stay hidden. Seriously. The bracelets are called Misty Bracelets, and apparently they're amazing cloaking devices, but only if you wear both. He explains that one of the 10 strongest warriors is inside the fortress, so staying unseen is vital. The other guy knows about the bracelets but admits they've never met before, which is weird. This dude is totally analyzing him, saying Southerners are rare and she's incredibly powerful. He doubts she'd forget someone like him and wonders if she remembers him from the Tardaris worshippers. But hold up, he straight up says she's the real danger, not him, which is a bold claim. And that's it, he's finally admitting she's the one to watch, and honestly, it's about time. He's poking at the barrier with his sword, being super careful, but also totally cocky about it. He's prepping for something big, saying it's time to get ready, and then that barrier clinks open. No way, he's reflecting in some kind of polished surface, and it's all twisted and distorted. He's rubbing his temples, clearly feeling a headache, and things are starting to look really off. He's touching his face like he's changing, or realizing he is changing, which is unsettling. He's adjusting his collar, getting into character, and it's a full-on disguise, bro. This dude is straight up a master of camouflage. People are already impressed, which is wild. They're saying he can deceive anyone and vanish without a trace, but his ability isn't quite there yet. He's blending into the crowd, disappearing in plain sight, but it's still a little rough around the edges. But honestly, he's making a big impression already. This dude is a natural, even if it's not perfect. Okay, so this fortress is huge, and apparently it's a ballroom, a party spot, and lodging all in one. Everyone here is vying for the princess's attention, nobles and powerful warriors, straight up, all trying to prove themselves. They're all VIPs, so they expect to be treated like royalty, which explains the over-the-top party vibe. The fortress isn't just a party place, though. It's where the challengers stay and where people gather to watch them fight. People are gossiping about the princess, saying she's not just beautiful, but the most talented sorceress ever. Some are even whispering she could be the hero who saves the world, but others think she's just partying while people starve. This dude's job is to gather info and scout for talented people, and he's clearly impressed by someone. He's saying not many people could last in a fight with one of the 10 strongest warriors, which is huge. Our boy is definitely making an impression. People are buzzing about his skills and how he blends in. But honestly, he's still perfecting his disguise. It's a little rough, but he's getting there. Someone asks where this knight is from, and he claims to work for a lady who's been dancing. Smooth, bro. But people are whispering nobody's heard anything from the third parish for days, which is super sus. The Baron just strolled in, bragging about the good liquor at the temple, but then someone drops a bomb. They saw smoke. Everyone starts speculating if Cardinal Olden took over the temple while the Holy One was away, but he's always been neutral. They think Olden might have been purging Tartarus worshippers, but honestly, nobody knows what happened during the raid. It sounds like information is being suppressed, and the Baron suggests they just enjoy the drinks and forget about it. He's raising his cup for a toast, but the guy across from him looks off, staring intently at the Baron. And then it hits everyone. They all know the Baron, which is seriously creepy and raises a ton of red flags. One of them straight up accuses the Baron of beating up priests earlier, and now things are about to get wild. No way, this dude is calling him out in front of everyone, and the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Someone yells out, demanding to know who this mysterious knight even is. Talk about hostile. This dude starts walking, and with every step, the atmosphere gets heavier and creepier, honestly. He keeps stepping forward, getting closer to whoever's watching him. It's a total power move. But then someone grabs him from behind, pulling him into a tight grip. No way, what just happened? Our boy struggles trying to break free, but this grip is strong. It's a full-on ambush, bro. He's getting dragged away, and it looks like this is about to get seriously messy. The tension is insane. Okay, so our boy is tracking something near the temple of the third parish, and this ghost dragon is definitely here. He's sniffing around, finding traces of lightning, and wait for it, the Dragon King-style martial art. No way. It turns out someone used that attack here, and there are also signs of some seriously messed up attacks. This dude walks up to a wrecked carriage, taking slow steps like he's expecting trouble, which honestly he should be. He touches something on the carriage and immediately realizes it's covered in one of Persephone's deadly poisons, and it shouldn't even be here. Bro, Jindryong, the Holy One, is teaming up with the tarantula who joined the Tartarus worshippers 3 years ago. What? They took out Olden on purpose, and this guy is furious, straight up losing his cool. He's ranting about how foolish they are to risk the future of their order, and you can feel the rage radiating off him. He's absolutely seething, grinding his teeth, and you know something big is about to go down. But honestly, he's right to be mad because this whole situation is spiraling out of control. Okay, so the pigeons are all messed up, flying around confused because their navigation is totally off. It's weird. They're realizing someone is hiding something incredibly valuable inside the temple, like a treasure trove or something. This dude is listing off the few people in the entire continent who could even do the dragon heart implantation. It's a super rare skill. Turns out their master, the head of the Tartarus worshippers, is one of them, and now he's worried someone got their hands on it. He's spiraling, wondering if the Holy One and his crew managed to snag one of the other dragon hearts, and if they're waiting for it to stabilize. He thinks they might have already implanted a dragon heart and are just stalling, and honestly, that's a solid theory. The blue-haired guy is losing it, realizing how carefully the Holy One has planned everything. This is getting intense. He's demanding to know who has the dragon heart, Jindryong or the Holy One, and the tension is thick. He's hoping it's Jindryong because at least that would be predictable, but if the Holy One got it, that's way scarier. But then he realizes Jindryong might have betrayed the Tartarus worshippers, and now everything is completely up in the air. Okay, so the mysterious masked guy is straight up the second in command, and he's got a serious glare. He's moving through the forest, and honestly, he's radiating bad vibes like major villain energy. He's conjuring these glowing spectral wolves, and they're flying towards someone. It's an ambush. He jumps into the fray, unleashing a massive wave of energy, determined to stop whoever's escaping. This dude is wielding a sword, and the energy blasts are colliding with a ghostly figure. It's intense. He's screaming he won't let them get away, and the spectral wolves are closing in for the kill. One of the wolves connects, and the ghostly figure lets out a massive roar. No way, that looks painful. The masked guy is unleashing even more energy, trapping the figure in a swirling vortex of power. However, the ghostly figure isn't going down without a fight, unleashing a green energy blast right back. Everything explodes in a chaotic mess of energy and spectral forms. This battle is absolutely wild. He's unleashing some serious lightning power, but the ghostly figure just chomps down on his arm. No way. The masked guy is reeling, covered in blood, but he's still powering up. This is getting intense. This dude is channeling energy into his palm and it's glowing red. Looks like a lightning palm is coming. He unleashes the lightning palm and it connects with the ghostly figure with a massive boom, huge explosion. But the ghostly figure isn't down and it's looking right at him, and honestly, that stare is terrifying. He's shocked, asking if that's really what he thinks it is, staring at the ghostly figure's glowing eye. Suddenly, a hand bursts through the energy, glowing with flames. This is a total game changer. The hand's owner declares they're glad to run into him, identifying himself as a disciple of Jinryong. He launches a fiery blast and it's colliding with the ghostly figure's energy, total chaos. Our boy is getting wrecked, but he's not backing down. He's ready to fight, even against all odds. The masked guy launches forward, but the ghostly figure meets him with a brutal counterattack. It's a clash of titans. He's trying to hold his ground, but the ghostly figure is just too strong, straight up overpowering him. Our boy gets sent flying through the air, smashing into the castle walls. Ouch, that had to hurt. He's airborne, desperately trying to regain control, but the ghostly figure is relentless. It's a full-on assault. He lands a hit, but the ghostly figure barely flinches. This dude is seriously tough to take down. Our boy realizes something. He's only as strong as the person he's fighting, and that's a huge problem. He shouts out his realization, questioning if this test is even fair, and honestly, it really isn't. A massive energy blast erupts, engulfing everything. It's a blinding explosion of power. The energy continues to surge, creating a chaotic whirlwind of light. This is getting out of control. Everything fades to white as the two energies collide. It's a total game changer, and we're left wondering what happens next. He's got this crazy dagger, the Blade of Mirage, that changes size depending on who wields it. Wild. Our boy is unleashing a whirlwind of attacks, but the ghostly figure deflects everything with insane skill. Swords clash, energy explodes. It's a dazzling display, but he's still getting pushed back. He's spinning and slashing, trying to break through, but the ghostly figure is just too precise. Another sword clash sends a shockwave. This dude is fighting like his life depends on it, because it does. The ghostly figure counters and their blades lock, but this time the dagger actually matches the sword's length. He manages a quick parry, but the figure's grip tightens and he's starting to lose control. The ghostly figure's eyes narrow and he's sizing up our boy. It's like he's assessing his weakness. With a swift movement, the ghostly figure disarms him. No way, that was fast. He's left defenseless, staring down the blade, and honestly, this dude had it coming. He tries to turn and escape, but the Demon King anticipates the move. This guy reads minds or something. The Demon King swings his blade and our boy barely dodges, but the attack whips past him so fast. He's rolling, twisting, trying to get some distance, but the Demon King is relentless and just keeps coming. The Demon King's blade connects, sending him flying. Ouch, that looked painful, but he's still fighting. He crashes into something, creating a massive rumble, and it feels like the whole place is shaking. The Demon King unleashes another attack, and this dude barely manages to evade, but it's a close call. Everything goes white as the blade slices through the air. It's over, man. He's straight up defeated. Our boy is leaving the third parish, but he's clearly not doing great. Coughing, struggling, things are looking rough. He's getting absolutely wrecked by this monster, taking hit after hit and barely hanging on. No way. This priest Ned is a mess, and this dude is straight up asking if he feels better now after all that. Ned starts spilling, apologizing for what happened, claiming he's just a mere priest following orders. But wait, Ned's saying he didn't mean to harm our boy's family and that he should be thanking him. Ned reveals he sent Jinryong to raise our boy because he felt bad for him being orphaned and even paid for it. He says thanks to Jinryong, our boy is powerful now, but then drops a bomb. He spent his childhood training in a cave. Ned paints this grim picture of what happened to other orphaned kids: starvation, slavery, or being devoured by vagrants. Dark stuff. Ned insists he made our boy, that he saved his life from ending up in hell like the others. What a claim. Our boy lets out a massive scream and splatters something across the room. Huff, he's clearly had enough of this. Whoa, hold up, someone's warning our boy not to trust Zephyr, saying he's deceiving him. He's stepping forward, ignoring the warning, and honestly, that's a terrible idea. Our boy is recalling Olden's ramblings, dismissing them as madness, but something feels off. He's approaching this massive, imposing mansion, and the atmosphere is thick with tension. But wait, a single eye opens, glowing intensely, and this dude is clearly shocked. He's declaring himself the Shadow Disciple, which sounds super ominous, doesn't it? Apparently, he was trained by Jinryong himself, one of 12 apostles, and was meant to protect someone. This is getting wild. He was supposed to prevent someone from taking the dragon heart, and he looks just like our boy. It's almost like they're siblings, sharing the same bloodline, which is a massive twist. Then it hits him, the Shadow Disciple he met was his sister, who he thought was dead. No way. Our boy is completely lost, questioning who's telling the truth, and honestly, we feel his pain. He's wandering around this massive estate, trying to piece things together, but it's just adding to the confusion. Someone is watching him from a window, smirking, and this dude is clearly up to no good. A woman starts playing the violin, and it's not just music, it's a signal that the party is ending. Everyone starts chatting about leaving, but our boy is stuck in his head, and Lord Zephyr suggests they meet again tomorrow. They begin walking away, leaving our boy alone, and he's fixated on Zephyr. Something is definitely off with that guy. A merchant casually mentions he's met a lot of people, and it feels like a subtle warning about Zephyr. But wait, the merchant's words hint Zephyr isn't who he seems, and our boy is starting to realize it. Our boy is finally connecting the dots. Zephyr is manipulating everyone, and it's a dangerous game. He's remembering the Shadow Disciple, realizing his sister was protecting him, and it's a massive emotional hit. Philip Pilgrim, head of the caravan, is straight up obsessed with finding new talent, and he's telling his associate, Elise Brenta, about it. He wants to buy this new guy before anyone else notices him, but Elise thinks they should just eliminate him. Elise agrees they need the best people, and if they can't have them, nobody can, which is kinda dark. Meanwhile, Edwin is walking through the mansion, thinking about his past life and everything he remembers. He realizes everything he knows is based on what he saw and experienced before, so naturally, there are gaps. There are bound to be people he doesn't recognize since they died before he could do anything last time around. He's tapping his cane as he walks, lost in thought, but then overhears bits of the conversation between Philip and Elise. Philip warns Edwin, people like that will rob you blind if you're not careful, and it's a huge red flag. Zephyr asks if they should report this to the princess, but immediately follows up by saying he thinks the guy is unfit. Our boy is connecting the dots. They are all scheming, and he's smack dab in the middle of their power plays. Okay, so this rich dude funded Princess Altair and was a big player in shaping the world. No big deal. He's telling Altair she needs to appear harmless while secretly building her power, and honestly, it's a solid plan. Apparently, the Tartarus worshippers had him on their radar, and he knew the Shadow Disciple killed Philip. Things are getting spicy. Flashback time, the Shadow Disciple straight up murders Philip, and it's brutal, but Edwin's son took care of Altair after. Philip surviving would mean fewer deaths in the desert operation, so Edwin's associate wants him gone, cold-blooded. Now Zephyr is laying down the law, keep Philip alive and take out the smiling woman. This dude is taking charge. Zephyr's got that intense focus face, and you know something big is about to go down. He's not messing around. Edwin is clenching his fist, clearly processing all this information and realizing how deeply tangled everything is. He's remembering his past, realizing what he missed, and it's hitting him hard. The pieces are finally clicking. But everything's connected, and our boy knows he's got a long fight ahead of him to unravel all these schemes. Okay, so the Demon King is unleashing a massive attack. Our boy is getting absolutely wrecked. No way. He's trying to fight back, but it's not enough. This dude is straight up outmatched and getting bodied. But then something insane happens. He gets sent flying backwards through time, back to when he was weak. He lands hard, flinching at something unseen, and is immediately questioning why he reacted like that. He's realizing he's stronger now, but still confused. It's like his instincts are telling him something's off. And just like that, he jumps into action, knowing he has to speedrun the apocalypse before it even starts. Okay, so Ned's got a plan. He's remembering his past life and realizing how screwed they were. He figures out how much stronger his disciple needs to be before escaping the Canyon of Oblivion, basically prepping for a power-up. Ned's calculating exactly how long this training needs to take, and it's a LOT of days marked on the cave wall. He's focused on two things, surviving the canyon and getting revenge on his master, who straight up betrayed him. This dude starts training hard, pushing his body to the absolute limit. It's intense, and he's getting ripped. But the Lord of the Canyon decides to crash the party, unleashing a devastating attack right as training peaks. The canyon explodes with power and our boy gets sent flying, completely overwhelmed by the force of the blast. No way, everything is crumbling around him, and it looks like his master is just watching it all happen. He's down, covered in rubble, and realizes he wasn't strong enough. It's a brutal moment of regret. He wishes he'd trained just a little more, but it's too late. This dude is about to get wiped out. Ned's master sacrifices himself to save him from the Lord of the Canyon. It's a total shock. But Ned's furious. He feels his master should have just fought alongside him instead. He screams that they could have both survived, but his master is already gone. Ned collapses, absolutely devastated, and vows to watch carefully. Something's brewing. Suddenly, a blinding light erupts, and Ned begins unleashing his last secret technique. It's an insane surge of power, with pink energy exploding all around him. He's channeling everything he has into this one final attack, radiating pure energy. And then everything goes white. It's like he's being reset, sent back in time. No way, he's back in his weakest form, a little kid, and it's all starting over again. This dude's getting a second chance, and he's gonna speedrun the apocalypse, you just know it. Ned wakes up in a lavish room, and it's straight up a flashback. He's remembering his master's back. He's having a serious chat with a mysterious man, and things are tense. Ned sighs, clearly annoyed. Ned's venting about how his master knew too much, like about the Sword of Light and divine items. He reveals his master knew exactly how to counter him, 1 step back, 3 to the side. It's kinda creepy. Ned's realizing everything unfolded exactly as his master predicted, which is super unsettling, honestly. He admits it's hard to believe, but everything he's saying is true. This dude is dropping bombs. Ned confesses he conveniently skipped over some awkward details, but now he's spilling the tea. He says he intentionally made people suspicious of the Tardaris worshippers. Our boy is playing 4D chess. Ned declares he needs to prepare, and bro looks seriously determined. This is where the real work begins. He's exhausted, but he's pushing through, and honestly, this dude is already miles ahead of where he started. He's admitting revenge wasn't the only reason he's doing all this. It's way deeper than that. Ned thought he'd live a normal life as part of his family, but then they lost everything, including their title. His family had a duty to take care of blood tears, and Ned's master offered him a new purpose when he had nothing left. The master gave him a name, a role as his disciple, and Ned willingly accepts. He's desperate to repay the kindness. He throws himself into brutal training, becoming incredibly strong, but it's all about earning his master's favor. Ned gladly takes on any unpleasant task, pushing himself to the limit. This dude is a workhorse, seriously. He realizes he was just a pawn, manipulated by everyone around him, and it's hitting him hard. Ned feels awful for messing up his life, but it's also a little late for regrets, don't you think? He's reflecting on how easily people trust family, but his family used him straight up. But Ned's not dwelling on the past, he's preparing to rewrite it, and this time he's playing to win. Our boy reveals he left something important behind in this world, a piece of his past, maybe. Ned's master is straight up impressed. He picked a disciple who time traveled to save everyone, no way. He chuckles, admitting this disciple is exactly what he expected, a force to be reckoned with. But it's not just about power. He refuses to let our boy carry this burden alone. That's true loyalty. They're moving forward together this time, and honestly, that's a powerful team-up. Ned confirms their conversation went well, and they're keeping everything a secret for now. Smart move. They know people would panic if they learned the truth, and keeping it close to the vest gives them an edge. The master formally introduces Princess Alter's permanent party. This is the crew that's gonna change everything. However, it's clear Ned's still holding something back, and his expression is giving me major side-eye vibes. He's determined to rewrite the future, and this dude is not messing around. Get ready for action. Someone is seriously injured, and a healer is working on them with glowing hands. It's intense. Another healer stands by, smirking, and reveals she had a rough time in Eurydice's dungeon, so now she deserves rest. She's basically saying she's done taking the fall for everyone, and honestly, we get it. 3 stars align, and it's a huge moment for our boy, Altair. He's leveling up his magic. No way, he hits level 3 of Median magic, unlocking all the basic knowledge within him. All that's left is training to awaken his full potential, and another star gets added with each level up. But here's the kicker, no one, not even this ethereal guide, has ever reached level 8. However, she's confident Altair can do it, and the gate to the stars will open for him. She starts spilling major info, saying he needs to trust Zephyr, and it sounds like Zephyr is important. It's revealed Zephyr was crucial in his last life and this one, and he needs to remember that. But things take a turn. She's used too much power and is falling asleep, meaning Altair will forget everything. She fades out and suddenly Altair jolts awake back in a room, looking totally confused. People rush to his side, shouting princess. Apparently this dude is royalty now and we're going way back. No way, Altair's suddenly back in his body, but he's getting attacked. Someone's trying to kill him. Fights back, dodging a blade, and straight up disarms his attacker with some crazy skill. But it's not enough, more assassins jump him, and this dude is seriously outnumbered. He's holding his own, but he's clearly weakened, remembering snippets of his past life and the apocalypse. Then a knight bursts in, saving Altair, and honestly, this dude's timing is perfect. The knight apologizes for greeting the princess in pajamas, which is a wild detail, and everything feels off. Altair realizes he's been sent back to when he was a kid, and it's a total reset. He's gotta do it all again. He remembers the guide's last words, urging him to trust Zephyr, and a blue glow surrounds him. But the glow intensifies, revealing a message. This is his last chance, and in this life, for your sake, what does that mean? He cuts to black, leaving us on a cliffhanger, and bro, I need answers now. Okay, so Zephyr's asking if she revealed everything to Altair, and bro, the tension is real. She casually drops that she can now read memories by touch, like Eurydice, and offers to let Altair share his. Altair agrees, and Zephyr's thinking this is gonna save her a ton of trouble persuading him. But wait, Altair reaches out and she's clearly calculating something, her eyes narrowed and cold. She's straight up sizing him up, and it's kinda creepy, like she's got a hidden agenda. He touches her and she's all serene, but her eyes, those green eyes, are intense and calculating. Altair's eyes flash and he's realizing something. He's gonna figure out what she's up to soon. She asks if they should continue their conversation from a week ago, and it's a total power move. This dude is not playing around, he's determined to uncover her secrets, and things are about to get spicy. She smirks, and honestly, this is a setup and our boy is walking right into it. Altair's got a plan. He needs to stall for time, but first he asks if this dude has eaten yet. He explains he needs fuel for what's coming and starts scattering scrolls everywhere. It's a serious operation. The others are shocked by the sheer volume of scrolls, and Zephyr and Eurydice are giving him serious side-eye. They finish prepping and now they're off, a caravan heading straight for the Blue Dragon and Knights of Lindel. Altair's loaded up his silver key and inventory with supplies, because this is a long haul, no doubt. Back inside, Zephyr reveals her plan. She's going to make it look like the disgraced princess was involved. Altair realizes she's manipulating things for her own purpose, and honestly, it's kinda obvious. He figures they'll buy themselves a month, maybe 2, but this whole situation feels like a ticking time bomb. The first step is the Blue Dragon raid, and the energy is building. This is where things get real. But the power surging around him is intense, and it's clear this mission is gonna push our boy to his limits. He explains she doesn't even remember their past, and if he just drops that bomb, it'll be a disaster. But honestly, this dude is overthinking it. He's worried she already trusts him because of their last life. He wonders if the princess's contact skill is making her unusually trusting, but it's a total mystery. He's starting to question if she's just being nice because of Lucius's introduction, or if something else is going on. Then it hits him, maybe she was already suspicious and guarded because she lost people before. Now they're finally approaching the plains of Danakil, the biggest food source on the whole continent. It's also where his father is from, and he's clearly feeling some type of way about returning home. But wait, he's still stuck on why the princess trusts him so easily. This dude can't let it go. He's spiraling, thinking maybe she already knew him in a past life, and that's why she's so chill. They're chatting about how easy it is to get a meal in Danakil when suddenly the carriage hits something. The driver jumps down to check, but then he's yanked off his feet. No way, this is a trap. The carriage is pulled into a massive hidden lair, and it's clear they've walked right into an ambush. Altair realizes this is the dragon's doing. It's been poisoning the water supply, and this is its nest. The dragon attacks, and the carriage is absolutely wrecked, sending everyone flying. Altair tries to protect the princess, but the dragon is too powerful. He's getting pummeled. He learns the dragon is building its nest at the river source, pumping poison into the region. The princess is worried, but Altair is already formulating a plan. This dude never gives up. He's thinking fast, figuring out how to purify the water source, but it's a race against time. However, he realizes the dragon isn't just poisoning the water, it's protecting something else. Okay, so Altair learns the land is doomed. 20% is already dead, and another 20% will go next year. But it's not totally hopeless. Apparently the river water is special and has kept things going this long. He realizes this is perfect timing for their plan, and if they mess it up, it's not just the farmland they lose. Straight up, this dude is laying out the stakes. It's way bigger than just a food shortage. Okay, so Fade, this dude is the king of poisons, and he just finished crafting 72 deadly toxins before his last life ended. But making these poisons wasn't easy. The ingredients are super rare, like you need Dragon Lord blood for one of them. No way. Here's where it gets wild. This poison burns you from the inside out, but if you adjust the dose and have a healer nearby, it actually heals you. Seriously. He's figuring out how to weaponize poison as medicine, and he thinks it might work against the blue dragon's poison, which is currently uncurable. Suddenly, people are bustling around and someone's arriving. It's a bit chaotic, but something's definitely up. A guy on horseback greets Mr. Pilgrim, and you can tell this isn't a friendly visit. The tension is building, bro. And then, bam, here comes a knight in shining armor on a horse, looking all regal. He asks how our boy has been. This is Regulus Danakil, head of the Scarecrow Knights and the Royal Army of Danakil, and he looks straight up imposing. However, it's a reunion that feels off. Something's definitely brewing with this knight and his arrival. Our boy is sizing up Regulus, and honestly, this whole scene is giving me bad vibes. Something big is about to go down. Regulus reveals he intercepted Fade's letter to Danakil about the dragon raid. Talk about eavesdropping. But Regulus isn't worried about the raid. He's been planting spies in the third parish, gathering intel. He drops a bombshell. The third parish is locked down and Lord Lucius has canceled everything, holing up in his room. Regulus thinks the timing is off for the raid, but Fade sees right through him. This dude is suspicious. Fade presses him, asking if Danakil sent him to check up on things, or if this was all Regulus's doing. Regulus orders Fade to shut down the first aid station immediately, but our boy isn't backing down. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the area, and everyone is sent flying. No way. The knight screams and someone else cries out in pain, but honestly, it's pure chaos at this point. Fade is clearly stunned by the attack, but he's still trying to figure out what just happened. However, Regulus is already back on his feet, looking furious. This dude is straight up terrifying. Regulus launches a brutal attack on Fade, catching him completely off guard. This dude is relentless. Fade's getting absolutely wrecked, but he's still fighting back, coughing and trying to land a hit. Ophelia, the princess's bodyguard, suddenly intervenes, shielding Fade from another blow. What is going on? She's taking a beating, but she's determined to protect Fade, even if it means fighting her own side. Regulus throws Ophelia aside, and she crashes into some crates. Oof, that looked painful. Fade's finally back on his feet, but he's clearly exhausted and struggling to breathe. Regulus draws his weapon, a glowing blade, and prepares to deliver a finishing blow. This is it. But Ophelia intercepts the attack, taking the hit herself. She's a total badass, honestly. She's down, but not out, and someone shouts her name. The tension is insane right now. Fade reveals he heard everything that happened outside using mana perception. He's been playing 4D chess. Fade is apologizing to Lord Zephyr, realizing he misjudged him. Turns out he was saving Lord Grimes, a top knight. Everyone's remembering how uptight Fade was at the academy. Apparently, other students were scared of him. But it wasn't because he was scary, it was because his team never had accidents. This dude is meticulous. Zephyr asks if Fade wanted to check everything was in order, and bro just admits it. No shame in his game. Regulus cuts in, revealing his full title. Junior Earl of Danakil sounds fancy, but still a villain. He starts laying into Fade, saying his team was harder to beat than anyone with so-called geniuses. Regulus is straight up flexing on Fade. This dude is oozing arrogance, honestly. However, Fade isn't backing down. He's holding his ground against Regulus's intimidation. Fade is questioning Regulus's motives. Something is definitely off with this guy, and our boy can sense it. Regulus is clearly hiding something, but he's playing it cool. The tension is building, no way. This knight is losing it, convinced they were betrayed by greed during the raid. Total meltdown. But then another knight jumps in, claiming Zephyr received an oracle from the goddess area and was saved. Apparently, the goddess gifted Zephyr a dragon heart, destined to save the world. Huge power-up incoming. The distraught knight overhears this and is instantly suspicious, demanding to know what's going on. He's all like goddess area and then accuses them of sharing glory with him, the audacity. However, Regulus and the other knight are totally in on it, exchanging a wink and admitting they're both lying. Okay, so the magic tower sent sorcerers to set up a warning system in the forest, a smoke signal for trouble. Everyone's hearing about this for the first time, but they've checked the area and claim there are no enemies around. They last heard from the forest town 2 days ago via carrier pigeon at the first aid station, but something feels off. This dude is super confident with all their firepower, but it's a little too soon to be celebrating, honestly. He asks about the homeland, but the other guy straight up says there isn't much to tell. It's all old, meaningless tales. But the other guy calls him out, saying if it's so meaningless, why does he talk about it in his sleep? He insists it doesn't matter if the stories are true or not, he just wants something to know about his past. The scene cuts to flames and we realize whenever they're in a desperate situation, he starts spilling the beans. And he begins to share more about the forest, finally giving some backstory. No way, after all that hesitation, he's actually opening up about the forest, and it's a big moment. Okay, so the forest looks breathtaking, all lush and beautiful, but it's actually a demonic trap. Our boy's got a bad feeling, and he's warning the others. This place lures people to their doom. Suddenly, the forest is going wild, vines twisting and glowing. It's like a magical storm is brewing. The woman tries to pause to figure out what's happening, but the forest is too fast, too chaotic. Boom, the forest erupts and they're thrown around like rag dolls. This is straight up terrifying. They're surrounded by twisting vines, and it's clear the forest is actively trying to trap them. The woman shouts about a gate, realizing this isn't just a forest, it's a doorway to something worse. She's panicking, realizing they haven't even reached the town. Something is seriously wrong. She desperately asks where they are, and it's deeper in the woods than they thought, past the town. They haven't even reached civilization, and this forest is already trying to swallow them whole. No way. The forest is actively rejecting them. It's like it knows they don't belong here, and it's furious. She yells for it to leave, and the forest actually listens. It's like she's commanding nature itself. But the forest isn't backing down, it's just coiling, concentrating its power. This is getting intense. Suddenly, this dude's hand is glowing with some serious energy, and a key symbol appears. What is going on? He's channeling that power into his hand, and it's building, building, building. It's a flash of light. He grabs the forest's energy, trying to contain it, but it's a full-on clash of power. This is epic. Our boy swings his weapon, unleashing everything he's got. It's a desperate attack. He declares there's plenty of time, but it's a bluff. He's clearly struggling against this forest. Whoosh, he's charging forward, determined to protect the town, but it's a dangerous gamble. He stares down the forest, completely focused. This dude is serious, and he won't back down. She introduces herself as Princess Altair, a human, and demands to speak with the forest's residents. Talk about a bold entrance. She says she comes in peace, but the forest isn't having it. It's straight up refusing to listen. The forest questions her motives, asking why she'd bother talking with an army at her side. Ouch, called out. They scoff, saying her brother ruined any chance of negotiation. This family drama is a mess, honestly. A king sits on his throne, looking down on everyone, and declares that the river separates them. A clear boundary is drawn. He points at the river, emphasizing the division between their people and those of the forest. It's a power move. However, Princess Altair isn't backing down, and she's clearly ready to fight for what she wants. She's fierce. But the forest isn't intimidated, it's gathering its strength, and things are about to get wild. Brace yourselves. She takes a step forward, and the forest is ready to strike. This is a full-on confrontation. Our boy's determined, but with an army against a forest. This is a seriously uphill battle. No way this is easy. Okay, so the Demon King lays down the law. No fighting, no talking, just silence. A total ceasefire. This marks the beginning of a truce and everyone's kinda stunned. It's a weirdly peaceful moment. He appreciates the rare item given as a sign of cooperation, but something feels off about his smile, super shady. She agrees to his terms and he's all too happy to oblige, but honestly, this feels like a trap. The ancient elves are brought forward and they're told to take whatever's offered. It's a weird exchange. He tells the elves to be careful, calling them noble forest dwellers, but the scene immediately cuts to chaos. What's going on? Suddenly, the forest itself attacks. Roots explode from the ground, knocking knights off their horses. Total ambush. Knights are flying everywhere, horses are screaming, and the forest is absolutely demolishing the army. It's brutal. One knight yells that the roots are moving, and it's a full-blown forest uprising. They are seriously screwed. The forest is relentless, and the knights are getting crushed. This truce was a lie, and our boy is about to witness a massacre. For over 2000 years, the elves have been stealing the forest's life force to build a fortress. Talk about a power move. They're riding into battle, and the forest is not happy. It's a straight-up declaration of war, and things get messy fast. Forest launches a brutal attack, and knights are getting flung everywhere. This is a total ambush, no survivors. One knight screams for them to retreat, but it's too late. The forest is just crushing everything in its path. The elves reveal their only offering for the army is death, cold, calculated, and honestly, kinda terrifying. A knight tries to defend himself, yelling about training, but the roots just crunch. It's gruesome. The attack intensifies with a blinding flash, and the forest is overflowing with power. This is beyond anything we've seen. The forest explodes with a massive blast, sending knights flying ag. It's absolutely devastating. This dude, the elf leader, just casually observes the carnage. He's so unbothered, it's creepy. He thinks this is how it's going to be, but honestly, he's in for a rude awakening. This isn't over. The elf leader unleashes a massive light barrier. It's huge, and the forest's attack slams right into it. He thinks his barrier will hold, but our boy activates his dragon slayer's cloak, reducing the magic damage. Then he amps up his light barrier skill. It's seriously powerful, and the forest's roots start to recoil. The forest is confused. It doesn't understand how he's deflecting its power, and the elves are shocked. One elf yells that they need to get the crystal ball, but another tries to touch it and gets blasted by the leader. Our boy sends a wave of light energy forward. It's a gluo of pure power, and the forest's roots just melt. He swings his weapon with a swoosh, cleaving through the remaining roots. This dude is a whirlwind of destruction. His cloak is fluttering in the wind, and he's advancing on the elves. They're straight up terrified now. He's pushing forward, and the elves realize they messed with the wrong guy. This is a total reversal. The elves are panicking, realizing how powerful this light barrier really is. No way they anticipated this. The elf leader asks if our boy is alright, but he just smirks. This dude is playing it cool. A female elf responds that she's okay, thanks to him, and gives him a look. Something's up with her. Suddenly, a voice booms. It's revealing the gatekeeper elves are just regular soldiers. What? But that's not the shocking part. The voice explains they're all just foot soldiers. No way, this changes everything. Okay, so things are intense. We learn this dude, Dariel, is one of the 10 greatest warriors on the continent. He's called the Divine Archer, and everyone's saying he's gonna be a total game changer in the war against the demons. Seriously, they're predicting he'll make the demons tremble. This guy is a big deal, apparently. But hold up, suddenly he's unleashing a massive arrow, like a huge one, and it's tearing through everything. Straight up chaos breaks out, trees are falling, everything's shaking, and people are yelling about an attack. Someone's using these weird eyes of greed to scout with remote golems. They can share vision between 3 of them. However, the golem's range is only 650 feet, and the trees are way too tall to see anything beyond that. One of the golems gets hit by something, a beam of light, and just vanishes. No way. They're trying to figure out what just happened, and honestly, it looks pretty bad for our boy. But it's a setup. Dariel is already letting loose another massive attack, and it's about to wreck everything. The arrow is flying, and it's not magic. It's straight up a physical attack, which is wild. It slams into this energy barrier, creating this massive explosion of light and power. Insane. Everyone's shocked. They thought it was a spell, but it's an arrow traveling over half a mile. The impact sends shockwaves through the forest, cracking the ground and tearing up trees. Total devastation. Dariel is still firing, unleashing more and more energy arrows, pushing his power to the limit. He's leaping through the air, sword drawn, a complete whirlwind of destruction and skill. But the hooded figures are reacting, one of them holding this glowing orb. Something's brewing. The orb amplifies the energy, making the explosions even bigger, but Dariel isn't slowing down. He's cutting through the energy blasts with his sword, a silver blur against the golden chaos. This dude is a monster, completely fearless, but honestly, it feels like he's facing impossible odds. Someone's floating in the water, looking super ominous. It's a spirit, and she's declaring someone won't last much longer. A blonde warrior yells at Dariel to use a stronger skill, promising to back him up, but it feels kinda late, honestly. Dariel unleashes red meteor, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a pair of blazing red meteors rocketing forward. The meteors streak across the sky, leaving trails of fire and energy. It's a beautiful, destructive sight. The impact creates a huge explosion, sending debris and energy flying everywhere. This is getting intense. Someone recognizes the skill, saying each arrow is 3 times faster and more powerful than normal. No way. They shout it's the red meteor, and our boy is looking legitimately worried, but still holding strong. The arrows are coming too fast to stop with language enchantment, and dodging would hurt his allies. He's trapped. 2 figures stand behind him looking helpless as the red meteor bears down. This is a tough spot. The meteors slam into Dariel, and honestly, it looks like he's taking the full force of the attack. Dariel's eye glows red, straight up demonic, and his movement seems strangely slow, like he's moving through molasses. But then his sword starts to glow, and his movements accelerate, becoming a blur of golden energy. The sword's trajectory isn't a straight line, though. It curves and bends, almost like a dragon taking shape. And in the next moment, the sword becomes a massive golden dragon, bursting forth with incredible power. It slams into the Demon King, but the impact isn't what anyone expects. It's a massive, blinding explosion of light and energy. The force of the blast throws Dariel backwards, and honestly, it looks like everything is getting destroyed. The Demon King isn't down for the count, though. He's still standing, looking furious and ready to retaliate. Dariel tries to recover, but the Demon King lands a brutal blow, sending him crashing to the ground. He's completely overwhelmed, but then a voice echoes, saying he had no idea what was coming. Boom, another explosion even bigger than the last, and everything goes white. This dude is toast, but what happens next is a mystery. Okay, so Dariel's getting questioned by this elf, who's straight up suspicious if he's even human. She reveals their people have been decimated by the blue dragon, and things are looking grim. Suddenly, a young girl runs in, screaming for her mother, and collapses into someone's arms. It's intense. The elf cradles the girl, but then she falls lifeless, and our boy realizes the stakes are higher than ever. Dariel's cornered by a shadowy figure, and he's offered anything he wants in exchange for help. He needs their help, and he's practically begging. This dude is desperate, but it's a trap. The figure reveals they've been waiting for Dariel, and honestly, it's a creepy, calculated confession. Dariel's memories flash, showing him as a child. No way, a flashback. This is getting wild. Then we see the elf's mother, also a child, being taken by the blue dragon, and everything clicks. The elf's father and another elf are shown being restrained by the blue dragon's vines. This is heartbreaking. Lord Grimes is recovering from the blue dragon's poison, but there's still some lingering in his system. However, a healer says the antidote is unlike anything they've ever seen. It's seriously powerful stuff. Grimes insists on joining the expedition, even though he hasn't fully recovered, because he wants to prove the antidote works. Everyone thinks he's an exemplary knight for risking his life, but honestly, this dude is stubborn. We get a sweeping view of this crazy city built into the trees. It's like something out of a fairy tale. And then more of the flashback. The elf's mother gets taken by the blue dragon as a child. No way, it's tragic. Okay, so Elfin Forest is thriving because of this magical lake, and it feeds the plains of Danakil, humanity's breadbasket. No big deal. The lake's got serious healing power, sustaining the whole massive forest, which is awesome for the elves, obviously. We see 2 elves chilling by the lake, spotting these huge, shadowy dragon-like figures flying above. Things are about to get real. But hold up, because one of those dragons, a blue dragon, straight up crashes into the lake, causing a massive splash. Ever since the blue dragon made its nest, things have been going downhill. Apparently, this is where our boy gets a second chance. Flashback time, we're now at Lindel Fortress, and they're planning a raid against that same blue dragon. They need to enlist troops from Danakil and use all available forces. Sounds like a solid plan, right? However, the plan fails spectacularly, because of course it does. The dragon is just too strong. Our boy loses, gets sent back in time to when he was weak, and now he's gotta fix everything before it even starts. He's basically speedrunning the apocalypse, and honestly, we're here for it. The princess is trying to get someone to trust her negotiation skills. It's a tough sell, apparently. Guy reluctantly agrees, but he's clearly hesitant, and honestly, we get it. Cut to a royal bedroom, and a prince is desperately trying to reach his ailing mother. It's rough. He's begging her to wake up, calling her mother instead of queen. Super emotional, bro. Someone asks what they're going to do, but the mood is bleak. Things are seriously spiraling. We get a close-up of someone looking determined, and it's clear they are about to make a big move. A group of armored soldiers stands against a red sky, and they're talking about the elves. It's ominous. They say the elves are just a fairy tale to those who live far away, but that's definitely not true. Someone explains how wandering minstrels have glamorized the elves, basically propaganda. People of Danakil treat the elves like pests, but now they are enemies and it's getting worse. 4 years ago, 2 high elves invade Danakil, claiming land watered by a special lake. It's a total power grab. They declare this land rightfully theirs because of the water of vitality and straight up call the humans barbarians. The humans are getting wrecked, but then Prince Polaris shows up, leading temple knights like a total badass. The elves retreat after a golden dragon appears, but it's not a clean victory, it's a temporary truce. As a result of the war, the humans win and force the elves to agree to a ceasefire, finally. But a year later, the farmland gets poisoned. No way, this is a setup for another disaster. The land is completely ruined, covered in purple, and it looks seriously messed up, honestly. Someone drops a chess piece, a knight, and it clunks onto the poisoned earth, foreshadowing something big. This dude is making moves, planning something sneaky, and it's clear he's not playing fair. The elves agreed to a truce, but it's clear they're still plotting something, and this is just the beginning. Okay, so everyone thinks the elves poison the land out of pure spite. It's the common belief, apparently. The plan to fix things is already tough, but they also need to watch their own team because betrayal is brewing. Edwin thinks a raid is too soon, but the princess straight up tells him he's missing the bigger picture. She's playing 4D chess, bro. She's using the crisis as an opportunity, and things are about to get wild. She's holding a chess piece, a queen, and honestly, it's a perfect metaphor for how she's manipulating everything. Edwin asks what she means, and you can see he's starting to get worried. This isn't going how he thought. She says crises are opportunities in disguise, and things are about to get real. She's thinking long-term. She wants them to remember their ultimate goal, and it's clear this whole situation is part of her plan. Flashback time, this dude admits he did a favor for some old guildmates, setting the stage for trouble. In return, they taught him how to make poisons and perform acupuncture. Talk about a dangerous skill set. Okay, so the poison is working and the elves are freaking out, but Fade straight up knew this would happen. He claims no one could even find the ingredients, but then drops a bomb. The recipe doesn't exist yet. Fade says his master will invent it in a few years, and honestly, that's messed up. He's playing everyone. They demand to know where Fade's master is, but he's playing coy, refusing to reveal anything. He finally admits his master and Fade belonged to a fallen assassins guild called Persephone. Talk about secrets. This dude won't say anything until he sees Fade for himself, and honestly, smart move, he doesn't trust him. They press him for Fade's location, but he doubles down. This guy is a vault of information. Then a flashback reveals Fade already left a year ago, and he heard rumors about the poison land. He reached out to an old contact, and Dariel is losing it. She clearly knows something's up. And then total chaos. She tries to grab him, but he just yeets her across the room. No way. The old man reveals they're almost out of the deadly poison. Talk about a problem. They had to decide who would take the poison and who wouldn't, straight up forsaking their own people. But then Lord Zephyr shows up and saves the day. This dude is a divine blessing, apparently. He not only neutralizes the poison, but he's as powerful as Dariel's bow, maybe even more. If they can get Zephyr on their side, they believe they can find the Queen's last sealed box. It's hidden in the center of the Poison Land, and honestly, that's a risky mission. Flashback to 3 years ago, the story is starting to circle back and we're getting answers. Our boy's been prepping for this for a long time, and he's ready to change the future. This dude is determined to speedrun the apocalypse and stop the Demon King, no matter what. However, the flashback ends, and we're left wondering what this sealed box even is. They've got the sealed boxes and are ready to build a new kingdom. Ambitious, right? These high elves who earn the title of Moon are straight up declaring independence. They're leaving to establish their own kingdom, but Elder Heron is not happy about it. He's yelling about abandoning the kingdom, and the Queen talk about a dramatic outburst. One of them drops a bombshell. The Queen single-handedly stopped the Blue Dragon, apparently. But Elder Heron insists the forest is what really stopped the dragon. He's not buying it. He claims the Queen never fulfilled her royal duties, even before getting poisoned. Apparently, she was too weak to do much more than lie in bed, and that's a serious accusation. He says she failed to stop the Red Moon and Black Moon from taking control of the army. Ouch. He's convinced they should have done this from the start and is done relying on the Queen. So Elder Heron is laying down some serious accusations. The Queen was basically useless and let the Red and Black Moons run wild. No way. Okay, so our boy is sealing a deal with the guild in Veronica, a major city down south. It's all business as usual. The guild is hyped about this opportunity, clapping and showing their support, but honestly it feels a little off. Turns out Lady Katie is straight up infiltrating the guild, disguising herself as someone else with vocal mimicry skills. Sneaky. She's all I can finally relax, but the real story is she's already plotting something big, as usual. This dude is offering to create farmland, trying to fix things, but some shadowy figures are convinced it's a trap. And suspicion against Jin Ryong is growing. Someone's clearly watching his every move. It's getting tense. But here's the twist. Those things over there aren't just random monsters. They're Tartarus worshippers. No way. They're plotting to contaminate the land again, and someone thinks our boy's efforts are just a waste of money. We get a glimpse of these weird, glowing, alien-looking creatures. Honestly, what are those things? These things are labeled L0 and M, and they're looking straight at us like they know we're watching. Creepy. Okay, so these glowing plants are called mana weed, and they're supposed to boost magic. Sounds good, right? But it turns out the mana weed is hissing and doing something seriously messed up. Major red flag. The plants are transforming into full-blown monster factories, pumping out creepy creatures left and right. It's a chaotic scene, monsters everywhere, and everyone is getting attacked. Total disaster. A huge, vine-covered monster rises up, and someone unleashes a massive energy blast at it. Things are escalating quickly. Our boy and another archer are firing arrows, trying to take down the monster horde, but it's overwhelming. Arrows hit, stabs land, but there's just too much coming at them. It's a desperate fight for survival. Then this super serious blonde dude shows up, looking all regal, and declares they need to protect someone. He's got this intense stare and is clearly in charge. This guy is about to make things interesting. And honestly, that braided rope design is kinda cool, even amidst the chaos. Details matter. So the blonde dude explains this woman has been critically ill for 3 years, and they absolutely can't move her. He needs mana stones and monster ingredients, so he's just gonna clear out all the monsters. Talk about a solution. The archer unleashes a huge blast of green energy at the massive vine monster, and it actually seems to hurt it. This dude's going all out, unleashing a swirling vortex of energy. It's a full-on magical assault. Fire erupts and the monster is engulfed in flames, but it's still fighting back, sending vines everywhere. He sends a blast of blue energy slicing through the chaos. The power level is off the charts right now. The blue energy cuts through the monster and the whole area explodes. Total devastation. But the monster isn't down yet. It's still lashing out even as it's being torn apart. Another energy blast, another explosion, and honestly, this is just pure spectacle at this point. The monster finally falls and a massive crater is left behind. This dude straight up leveled the place. Okay, so our boy is unleashing a ridiculous amount of energy, sending massive chunks of rock flying. It's intense. He's channeling this red lightning and it looks like it's tearing him apart, but he's pushing through anyway. He focuses all that power into a single devastating punch, straight up explosive force. Punch connects and sends out a shockwave, ripping through the area. This dude is obliterating everything. It's a massive explosion and the energy is just radiating outward, but something's forming within the blast. This dark mass is taking shape and it's like a swirling vortex of energy. No way, it's getting bigger. The vortex fully forms into this crazy, spiky sphere of dark energy, and it's pulsating with power. The sphere launches forward and it's just a relentless, unstoppable force. It's heading straight for something. But then everything cuts to a scene of gratitude. People are thanking our boy for protecting their town. They're acknowledging him as a hero, and honestly, he deserves all the thanks after that insane battle. Okay, so this elf is straight up shocked humanity saved them, especially after their own people bailed. He asks for 2 vital items to prevent contamination, but the town leader immediately says no. Our boy sighs like seriously and explains they need an antidote for the elf queen. And then there's a second request, something about sap from the tree of life, which is crucial. The town leader is getting defensive, saying they can't give up these items, but our boy isn't having it. He demands they spell it out for him and then lays it on them. The sap is the key ingredient. He points out he only needs help with the 3rd task, and honestly, he's totally right. The elf is frustrated, but our boy is just standing there, radiating confidence. This dude is not backing down. But the elf admits the items are critical, and it's a tough spot because they're so important for the town. He's really getting sick of this back and forth, and honestly, we're right there with him. This elf is laying it all out. He's the only fighter left, responsible for protecting everyone. He's desperate for those 2 items, claiming the town will be contaminated without them, and offers anything in return. He's also drawing his own blood every day to make a poison suppressant for the queen's talk about dedication. He's clearly exhausted, questioning how much longer he has to sacrifice himself for others. He's straight up accusing them of just wanting him to fail so the humans can swoop in and plunder the town. Another elf steps in, basically saying, "What if you can't do it this time? Super harsh, bro." He wonders who's going to wait for them, throwing shade at the dragon and the queen. He keeps piling on the pressure, asking how much longer this elf expects him to suffer. This dude is giving one final warning, make no mistake, this is your only chance, and it's intense. Okay, so Zephyr straight up breaks a legendary bow during a fight, and Elise is not happy about it. But it turns out this isn't just any bow, it's a hero-grade weapon, incredibly expensive and rare. Everyone's losing it over the bow's value, and Elise confirms it's a hero-grade item, tied to the Great Dariel. Apparently, the item grading system is official, established by the Temple of Light and Adventurers Guild. This dude is offering 50,000 gold for the broken bow, and honestly, it's a steal, according to the elf. Someone thinks Lord Zephyr is out of his mind, but our boy is making a power play. We get a flashback showing the bow in action. It was used to protect the town from contamination, no way. Turns out Zephyr doesn't even need the bow anymore. He's moved past relying on those old tools. He says the only way to go forward is to break free from the past, which is intense. And now it's clear Zephyr didn't break the bow out of spite. He destroyed his own dependence on it. Zephyr says he has materials to make Elise a new body, and honestly, that's a bold claim. Everyone's wondering what high-quality materials he's talking about, and it seems like a branch from the Tree of Life. The room transforms, a huge tree image appears, and the whole place is glowing. It's a serious vibe. Zephyr starts carefully dripping the essence of the Tree of Life into a goblet for Elise. It's super delicate. He's so focused, and Elise is watching him with this intense, unreadable expression. What's she thinking? The liquid in the goblet starts to swirl and glow, becoming something truly magical and beautiful. Zephyr is staring at the completed drink, and his expression is calculating. Something's definitely up. Elise drinks, and the goblet radiates blinding light. It's beautiful, but also kinda terrifying. The light fades, and Elise is different. She looks amazing, but also strangely detached. She says it's beautiful, and honestly, it's a little unsettling, like this isn't the Elise we know. Zephyr's got this whole last cup of water thing going on, hinting the raid better work. He's saying if they succeed and restore the Lake of Vitality, there won't be a last cup, and honestly, that's a huge if. But then this dude just downs the entire goblet in one go, no hesitation, straight up chugging. The liquid hits him and it's like a power-up sequence. Energy is surging and it's intense. He's glowing, surrounded by this wild energy, and it's like he's about to explode with vitality. No way, he's literally overflowing with power, and the whole place is shaking with it. It's a full-on transformation, and the energy is making everything around him crack and glow. He announces his body is bursting with vitality, and the title card confirms it's water of vitality. Seriously, this dude is radiating energy, and it's almost blinding. It's a whole new level. Our boy has become a walking, talking power source, and I'm pretty sure he just leveled up big time. He's activating dragonification, and the mana flow is insane. It's like a power-up combo. But this isn't just about looking cool. He needs to massively increase the duration and level of that transformation. The conditions for the Blue Dragon raid are brutal. A 6-mile radius of deadly poison surrounds the lake. And at the center of it all, the Blue Dragon, straight up the king of beasts. This is terrifying. He realizes no human body could survive a fight like that, which is why he's pushing himself so hard. The best way to level up dragonification, unleash the dragon heart's power with the water of vitality, obviously. Elise explains the dragon heart's power is supposed to release slowly, but the pressure is too much for a normal body. Enter the Moirai, the 3 goddesses of fate, and they're clearly messing with the energy around our boy. They're binding him with these glowing threads, seemingly to help him control the dragon heart's power. It's a risky move, but it looks like it might work. This dude is about to hit a whole new level of power. He's combining the water of vitality, dragonification, and the Moirai's power. It's a risky move, but he's going for it. Whoa, the energy explodes outwards, and it's like a golden supernova is born. This is intense. The power is resisting, refusing to mix. It's like these energies are actively fighting each other. He grits his teeth, pushing through the pain, and the percentage slowly starts to climb. 6, 1%, 6, 2%, 5%. No way, he's getting slammed with a massive backlash, coughing up blood and clearly struggling to hold on. Elise is there, ready to heal him, but it looks like he's trying to fight it, refusing to be saved. He's determined to endure, even as blood trickles down his face. This dude is seriously hardcore. The percentage is climbing again, hitting 6%, but the strain on his body is visible. It's brutal. However, he's starting to stabilize, and the Moirai's threads are glowing brighter, helping him control the flow. And just when you think he's reached his limit, he pushes even harder, refusing to yield. Our boy is a beast. He's channeling that king-style energy, straight up forming a fiery hand. It's a serious power-up. He reaches out and touches Elise, transferring the wild power raging inside her. Talk about a bold move. This dude is guiding the energy, trying to tame the beast within Elise, but it's clearly agonizing for both of them. The energy surges and Elise starts to glow. It's like she's being reborn, but it looks incredibly painful. He's fully transferring the power now, and Elise's body is radiating golden light, but green energy swirls around her too. No way, Elise's eyes snap open, glowing red, and she's clearly not herself anymore, bro. She's unleashing a massive burst of energy, a blinding flash that engulfs everything. It's a total explosion. However, it's not just an explosion. They are both being teleported somewhere, vanishing in the light. And just like that, they're gone, leaving only swirling energy behind. What a cliffhanger. Wait, Elise is still fighting the power, her eyes burning red, and she's clearly struggling to control it. He's desperately trying to transfer the demonic energy out of Elise, pushing it into himself. Talk about selfless. But the power is too much, it's overwhelming him, and he's getting weaker by the second. Okay, so our boy is hearing about forging a weapon for a dragon, and he's like, never done that before. He sees this crazy glowing mana alloy, clear gold, and learns it's the elf's best stuff, meant to contain insane power. No, the blacksmith is prepping to mix the clear gold with dragon scales, blood rubies, and even arrow shafts. He's gathering everything he needs, and honestly, it's a little intense, like seriously powerful ingredients. Then he starts a mage circle spell, which is some ancient thing that boosts the power of everything inside it by 100%. The spell's going off, everything's flashing, and the blacksmith is starting what looks like a dragonification process. But this isn't just any transformation, it's straight up turning him into a dragon, scales, claws, the whole deal. The power's surging, the transformation's complete, and it's kinda terrifying, but also epic. He's channeling all that power, and it looks like he's ready to forge something truly legendary. This dude is about to unleash some serious power, and we're all on the edge of our seats. He speaks some ancient words, and the clear gold starts swirling. It's a language enchantment spell. The blacksmith commands the mana to flow forth, and honestly, the energy is insane right now. He yells, "Bind it," and the glowing alloy wraps around the arrowheads, fusing them together. Everything's blindingly bright. He's forging black dragon arrows, and they're looking seriously lethal. But wait, these aren't just arrows, they're a whole bow and a quiver full of them. He's staring off into the distance, and you can tell he's sensing something huge approaching. He's got this intense look on his face, like he knows exactly what's coming, and it's bad. The arrows launch with a do-done sound effect, and they're flying straight toward something unseen. It's 2 weeks until the raid, and humans and elves are prepping, but this dude is ready to face it all. The title card flashes Doombreaker, and honestly, this is about to be epic. Lord Ned is taking charge of training, but our boy is suspicious. 2 weeks feels way too short. The hunting team prepares to battle monsters and plants, aiming for the Lake of Vitality. No big deal. They need to reach the lake in under 10 days. It's a tight schedule, but they're determined. The hunt continues daily, and they're extracting mana stones from every monster they slay. Mountains of mana stones appear, but honestly, they disappear just as quickly, which is weird. The commander gets a report, and it sounds like they're building and reinforcing bases like crazy. They're using the mana stones to lift materials, constructing a base in the forest. It's coming together fast. Someone's drawing a magic circle, and it's for creating a safe zone, which is super important. She plans to install the magic circles along the hunting team's path and needs the sorcerer's help. She's holding a branch showing how the circle will allow people to safely come inside. Genius move. Noel, the greatest elven blacksmith, is totally stepping up. He's gonna try and help with the dragonification process. Cut to our boy, and he's powering up, but he's already realizing this is gonna be rough. He hits stage 2 of dragonification, reaching 5% power, but there's a catch. He can only maintain it for 10 minutes. The more power he uses, the quicker it spreads and the stronger he gets, but the time limit gets shorter too. There's a handy chart explaining the power-up/time limit relationship, and it's intense. Every 1% needs more time. He needs to boost his power before the raid, ideally to 19% for 28 minutes of dragonification, but 17% for 24 minutes is acceptable. This dude is straight up calculating risk and reward, trying to maximize his dragon form time. He pushes himself, sweat dripping. It's a grueling process, and he's clearly straining. But our boy is determined, gritting his teeth and refusing to give up, even though it looks painful. He finally exhales, completely exhausted, but ready to face whatever's coming. This is gonna be a wild ride. Okay, so our boy is going all out against the Demon King, unleashing a ridiculous amount of power. He's flying at the monster with everything he's got, but it's clear the Demon King is just on another level. He's pushing past his limits, determined to win, but it's a losing battle. The strain is visible. But the Demon King just swats him away like a fly, and our boy is sent crashing down. No way, he's completely overwhelmed, admitting defeat, and then gets sent back in time. He's back in his weakest form, a total baby, but he's already plotting how to change everything. Meanwhile, back at base, everything seems fine, supplies are good, troops are ready to go. But someone's clearly exhausted, and this dude is already polishing off a huge meal. They're questioning where all the food is going, and honestly, we can see where it's all going. This dude is nomming on cake, and it's hilarious. He's gonna need all the energy he can get. Okay, so Helia is leaving early, claiming her skin needs a break. Suspect. But before she can even escape, a red-haired dude grabs her arm, demanding a sparring match. Helia is not having it, straight up telling him she's too tired and demanding he let go. He ignores her protests and drags her away, saying he wants to test her skills before tomorrow's raid. Our boy's disciple is cheering her on, but this is giving off seriously bad vibes. She's looking out at a camp full of tents, thinking about how unbelievable this whole situation is. But then a flood of letters arrives, and everyone is basically begging her not to fight the dragon. They say their troops are already deployed, so they can't help, and honestly, it sounds like excuses. Someone even offers to introduce her to a swindler, and another is trying to sell her land. The audacity. Then her sister starts questioning her military buildup, and this dude is clearly scheming. He's ranting that even nobles and powerful adventurers didn't lift a finger to help him. It's rough. But the only people he could actually rely on were his team, and they're standing right beside him. He remembers how his problems just vanished like magic when they were around. And honestly, that's a huge setup. Something good is about to happen. We can feel it. Okay, so our boy is facing off against the Demon King, demanding to know who sent him. Talk about a tense standoff. Turns out the Demon King has this ancient spell, Kiss of Darkness, which straight up forces whoever you kiss to tell the truth. This dude, though, he's all I came here on my own, playing it cool while seriously injured. He's about to make a move, and honestly, it's kinda wild seeing him go for it, knowing what that kiss does. He leans in, whispering for you to the princess, and she looks completely shocked. The feels are real. And then he kisses her. No way, this is a power move, weakening her and forcing her confession. She reveals someone died for her sake, which is heavy, but our boy is focused on getting answers. But here's the twist, he's not after the truth about who sent him, he's trying to change the past. He's been sent back seemingly to his younger self and is determined to stop the apocalypse before it begins. This dude is ready to speedrun the end of the world, and I'm here for it. The stakes are higher than ever. He went back in time, and now he's laying it all out. He needs to change everything. But the princess, she's clearly not buying a word of it, and her eyes are intense. She tries to stop him, but this dude is faster, grabbing her hand with serious intent. He's using a dark hand ability. Some seriously spooky energy is flowing through her. Princess is freaking out, but he's just calmly pointing out her trembling voice, cold. He explains Median magic has an integrity check, meaning she can see he's telling the truth. Even though it's her first time using the skill, she knows he's not lying. Huge reveal. And then she grabs his hand, straight up demanding to know what's going on. He's detailing a future where everything goes wrong, and honestly, it sounds terrifying. However, she doesn't believe him, insisting the future isn't set in stone. She's a fighter. He's laying it all out. The only way to make Altair believe him is through communion, whatever that is. He asked her to ask anything, and she just stares. No questions, that's suspicious even for her. She's totally silent, but then she grabs his hand and her expression shifts. She's sizing him up. He leans in close and the tension is real. This dude is not messing around, straight up invading her space. She's demanding answers and he's explaining everything, but she doesn't seem convinced, stubborn as always. He's painting this bleak picture of the future, and it's intense. The weight of the world is on his shoulders. But she insists fate isn't fixed, and she's determined to change things. No way she's accepting this doom. She's gripping his hand tighter, and we get a close-up. Her eyes are so focused, it's kinda scary. He's holding her hand, and the energy between them is building. Something big is about to happen. However, Milla is losing it. She's furious about something, and someone is asking what's wrong with her. So the crew is working for Princess Altair, but they are really taking orders from someone else. It's a secret operation. Milla is straight up seething because of Altair, ranting about how she always looked down on her at the academy. Apparently, Milla was a total grindset student, pulling all-nighters and running errands for the professors, but Altair just cruised by. Altair skips classes and challenges teachers to magic duels just to get attendance marked. What a rebel. Milla is losing her mind, claiming Altair thinks she's above hard work and uses her wealth to get everything she wants. The other agent knows Altair is critical of their plan and has been watching her for any sign of interference. But she's been secretly working with them all along, a total double agent. No one saw that coming. Since they have a job to do, he's trying to calm Milla down before she does something she regrets and reveals he has a secret. They need a strong fighter for this mission, and since no suitable candidates are available, they're asking Milla to step up if she completes this current task. Sounds like a challenge she'll accept. Okay, so the old mage is laying down a prophecy. Our boy is destined to defeat the blue dragon. But Milla's got a past. Apparently she was an exclusive sorceress for some rich noble. They finish checking the golems and need to rest up for the big battle tomorrow. Sounds intense. Milla and the old mage are laughing it up, but then he's all alone and muttering about those humans. This dude is seriously unimpressed with people, straight up annoyed they finally left him alone. He starts scribbling on the golems, and honestly, it looks like some ancient magic is brewing. The golems are powered by magical instructions etched onto their bodies. Kinda cool, kinda creepy. But here's the twist, he's gonna reprogram those golems to only obey him. No way. He's unleashing some serious power, and the golems are glowing with a creepy green energy. He's cackling about his new army, and these golems are about to become his faithful servants. The army's gearing up for war, drums pounding and horns blasting. It's a total hype moment. Milla and a knight are standing tall, watching the army mobilize, and honestly, she looks ready. An old wizard observes from above, and Bro is straight up sensing something is off with all this. He realizes nobody's said it aloud, but everyone feels this looming dread. It's a turning point. This mysterious redhead appears, and he's radiating power like a total bad omen. He declares today is the day of reckoning, then pulls out a massive bow and arrows. No way. Another proclamation, others will witness a historic turning point, and the tension is insane. Our boy is ready for war and is about to change everything.